7.
Nissan has just created a minor miracle. A new Altima that's roomier, quieter, and sleeker than ever before. But the miraculous part is that while they've raised the bar, they've done it without raising the price. The new Nissan Altima, starting at $15,000, $17,990 with a lot of stuff.
An inside look at the Wings training camp, late night Sunday.
The youngest champion. That is incredible. Evan Smith. Photo finish. This is ABC Sports. Finally, the 97 college football season has arrived in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The children were surely beginning to wonder if Santa was going to be late this year. The trees are still leaf-laden and green, but we'll knock a few of those leaves off this afternoon as the Colorado Buffaloes come in to challenge the Michigan Wolverines. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, and the sun has just broken through to give us a bright, shiny day for the opening of the season in Ann Arbor. This matchup between Michigan and Wolverines and the Colorado Buffaloes have provided remarkable finishes in their last 2 games. No reason not to think we won't have it again today. It's a pole game. You win, you go up. You lose, you don't go down a whole lot. In today's game, we will see surely a young man who is already an All-American who will be playing both ways for these Michigan Wolverines. He is cornerback Charles Woodson, a 20-year-old junior from Fremont, Ohio. He makes tackles. He intercepts passes. He catches passes. He returns punts, and he does carry a pump. His coaches call him the best player in college football. But today, he's going to be challenged by a man wearing the white shirt, number 7, quarterback John Hessler, and his Colorado Buffalo receivers will challenge Charles Woodson, and they beat him for a touchdown a year ago. Individually and collectively, this is an exciting college football game waiting to be played. Right now, we join our studio in New York.
Burger King College Football Today. Burger King, where you get great taste and great value every day. Get your burger's worth. Now, from New York, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
Welcome, and up to the game in just a moment. But first, Todd, the Heisman candidates. We know Peyton Manning has a long list, but some other guys not getting as much attention you like.
Yeah, let's start with a couple primetime players. First, down at Texas, Ricky Little, Earl Williams moved to tailback this year. Great start in the opener, 155 yards. Wide receiver Randy Moss, remember that name at Marshall. Only 12 catches, but 4 have gone for touchdowns. 2 defensive players that have moved to positions. Andre Wadsworth of Florida State from tackle to end, and Tennessee's Leonard Little is playing some at middle linebacker. Both guys moved to have a chance to make more impact plays. 2 sophomore running backs that outside of their conference, you probably don't know too much about them. Amos Zeraway of West Virginia and Damon Parker of Oklahoma, both averaging 186 yards per game. Down at North Carolina State, quarterback Jamie Barnett has led his team to a 2-0 start by completing nearly 70% of his passes. And everyone knew Penn State would be good this year. The big question mark, the new quarterback. And his first career start, a career day for Mike McQuarrie.
A reminder, this is the second half of your doubleheader. Check local listings for the game available in your area. But Colorado and Michigan coming up next. Who do you like?
I like Michigan because of their defense, their ability to stop the run and one-dimensionalize the Buffalo.
We'll find out in a moment. Right now, we're going to go to commercial, then come back with more. There's a look at Charles Woodson. ABC's presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Is that a new big, King? No, it's a bag, Coach. No, in the bag, son. Yes, sir, it is. Well, what's a smart kid like you doing sitting on the bench? Get in there and play quarterback. Really? Like taking candy from a baby.
The new Big King from Burger King, flame broiled with 75% more beef. It's like a Big Mac, except it's bigger and tastes better. And right now, you can get one for just 99 cents.
Coach said I could play halfback.
Our race commemorates Sir Whitmore's ill-fated expedition to the North Pole. He was told he would have better grip with wide snowshoes, but he insisted on thin. He learned a hard lesson. Wider is better.
Presenting the new wide-track Grand Prix Sports Sedan. Its wheels are set wide for better grip to make tracks in any weather.
The spirit still calls. The
new wide-track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is better.
Before planning your next getaway, call Thrifty Car Rental at 1-800-4CARS. We're right in your neighborhood with great rates on great cars. For a limited time, rent a compact car for only $29.95 a day. But at that price, they're going fast. So call Thrifty now at 1-800-4CARS or your professional travel agent. It's quick, it's easy, and best of all, it's thrifty.
The fur is flying.
It's not what I wanted.
The case of the stinking mink. On the next all-new People's Court.
Weekdays at 11 here on 7. Today's game is brought to you in part by your friendly Southeast Michigan Dodge dealers.
You're going to want to take advantage of the great deals at the Dodge Big Summer Clearance before time runs out. You'll need to be quick on your feet to corner a Caravan with up to $1,000 cash back. And since after $750 cash back, Caravan is the lowest priced minivan in the industry, time isn't the only thing that's going to fly. Get to the Dodge Big Summer Clearance soon, because the clock is running. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
What's nice for working mothers here is the new Kids Center. It fosters a family atmosphere.
Today, we're going to read The Rumble in the Jungle Book. See Muhammad, see George, see Muhammad clobber George.
And our children learn skills we don't know how to teach.
Wait a minute. You got to go to the body. And you got to work the left hook. You understand?
They're getting nutritious meals. And when your teacher's the reigning WBA champ, you're going to listen, which is nice.
It's cold out. Don't forget your gloves.
Thank you.
Not every chicken has what it takes to become a Rally's spicy chicken sandwich. Fortunately, we know them when we see them. Introducing our hottest sensation, Rally's new spicy chicken sandwich. Tender, juicy chicken, born to be wild, and served up hot with just the right spice. And now for a limited time, you can get your mitts on one for just 99 cents at Rally's.
This kind of moment has to have deep roots, and it does. 117 years of growth, 764 wins, most by any Division 1A team. This is Michigan. Hello again, everybody. Keith Jackson along with Bob Greasy. Bob, we've come to this last match in this series between these two teams, and again the story is Michigan muscle and Colorado speed.
Well, you have to do your style. You got to stay within yourself. And Michigan, they want to run the ball, control the clock, and pass sparingly. On the other hand, Colorado is a big play team, 3 and 4 wide receivers. They're going to try to run some. I don't think they'll be able to. They're going to have to throw to win.
There was a quote earlier this week that said simply, "You're not nervous if you are prepared." It was a comment from Brian Greasy, the son. Then why is the father so nervous?
Well, I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The old man's a little nervous. The butterflies are there. I had dinner with him the other night. He seemed very calm and collected. This game is going to be more than the quarterbacks, and there's two fine ones. It's going to be Colorado and Michigan. It should be a great ball game.
Well, 1994 and last year have provided remarkable finishes in games between these two teams. Remember them?
It is also available to collectors.
Now the time has come. Time, no place to run. Time. Time. Time.
If you ever end up in some Ben Hur movie, in your new 97 Pontiac Sunfire GT, with its powerful twin-cam engine, well, you'll be glad you have a quick-handling sports suspension. And, of course, 150 horses. The new 1997 Pontiac Sunfire GT. Find a real set of wheels you can really afford.
A lot of people my age set off on cruises around the world. Now, I set off on a second career. Hi, Of course, my Dean Witter broker's impeccable investment advice prepared me for any sort of retirement I chose. And I chose to start over with a business of my own.
Wait a minute, are you sure you're old enough to be here?
That's my idea of a fascinating adventure.
At Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
Dick, the creator of Miller Lite Advertising, has great news for all football fans. This year, Miller Lite is an official beer sponsor of the NFL. That means that this season will be better than last season. Remember that woman with the huge hair who sat down in front of you while you were trying to watch the game? Well, that's not going to happen this year. Dick says, if you like that, you haven't seen anything yet. Stay tuned.
If you want the theater experience, without that theater experience, get a home theater system at Circuit City and enjoy it in the privacy of your own home. Circuit City, you can't get a lower price. We guarantee it.
The conditions are perfect here in the big house in Ann Arbor, Michigan for a little running and thumping. And an eager and enthusiastic head coach for the Colorado team, Rick Neuheisel, said he wants to play this football game on a 60-yard field. He believes field position is key. He also said with one game under their belt, they're going to be more likely offensively to take more chances once he crosses the 40-yard line. Now, a very relaxed and joking Lloyd Carr on the field before the game, he understands they've got a one-game advantage. He says he stressed that to his football team all during the preseason. He said when he comes out here, he wants them not to make the kinds of mistakes that will hurt them. And he said this, Keith, he feels much more comfortable with an inexperienced offensive line because his skilled people have the experience he thinks is necessary to get them a victory. Keith?
All right, Swanee, we're ready to go. 136 consecutive home crowds of more than 100,000 at Michigan today. And the sun is out still, warming up the countryside. It's been a kind of a cool, gray week, but it's certainly a festive moment as the ball is in the air. And the kick by Jay Feely goes beyond the field of play. And Colorado will come out to the 20 for a first down. The chilly starting lineup for the Colorado Buffaloes. The offense can throw, but they need some run. The offensive line, 310-pound tackle Mel Thomas, the leader. Receivers, they don't have the speed of last year's group, but Savoy and Cheverini is solid. The backs, John Hessler carries a gun at quarterback, but as I said, they don't have that big running back. Herschel Troutman will open in there at the tailback spot, and it probably will be a single back much of the day for Colorado, though you will see them at times in a split and at times in a power line. The first play of the game is given to Troutman. He finds daylight over the left side, and he moves the football out to about the 27-yard line. The Michigan defense, new coordinator there, Jim Herman, good pressure people up front, but they were split that time. Eric Mays is a co-captain at linebacker, good young people here in reserve. Number 2, Charles Woodson, the main man in the secondary, but there are a lot of young people there too, especially in the backup roles. The front liners in the secondary are all veterans. It'll be second down and call it 2 for the Colorado Buffaloes. And Hessler's first pass of the day is away, and it is incomplete. Hessler was teetotaled by the pressure from up front. It was Andre Weathers coming from the outside to get the quarterback, and the ball went off the hands of Savoy, the intended receiver.
Now the game is on, Keith. Michigan had their nickel package in. They had a corner blitz. If that ball is caught, there was some room to run in the secondary.
Yeah, he might still be running all the way to Flint. He had a lot of room.
I think the pressure of Weathers on Hessler forced him to throw it a little bit high.
So it'll be third down and 2 for the Buffaloes, and they come wide to the bottom of the picture. Savoy is down there, and it is a little dump off to the right side intended for Troutman out of the backfield. But again, the Michigan pressure caused him to release the ball a little far away from his target. And so Michigan's defense does the job. Now Charles Woodson will go back upfield onto the punt. Peach will come in. He is a sophomore out of Seattle, Washington, for his first punt of the day. Woodson is standing just beyond the 30-yard line, and Peach should hit this around the 16. Now Michigan gets the 11th man on the field, and the kick is away. It's a shank off the side of the foot and takes a Michigan bounce. It goes all the way inside the 45 and is finally downed at the Colorado 44. Not a good kick. The net is only 16 yards. The Chili's starting lineup for the Michigan Wolverines. The offensive front, there have been more moves here than a 12-hour chess game. It's talented, but it's young. The receivers, a position of strength among the starters. The reserves, young. The backs, a good blend here of experience, and there's depth in the backfield. The Colorado defense, there's great speed here. Great foot speed on the Colorado defense. So Brian Greasy comes out, number 14, a fifth-year senior. He worked and waited and now finally gets the starting call in the opening game of the 1997 season. Shaw is in motion. They'll run it with number 8, Chris Howard. And Howard, the bigger of the backs at 216 pounds, will get the ball maybe about a 2-yard pickup on it. The defense along the front, it's very good for Colorado, especially the tackles Olson and Mau Mau. The linebackers, Navy's is a destroyer. He ain't a cruiser, he's a destroyer. Murkison is the big strong man, and the secondary, the safeties are tough guys against the run, but they can be had by the pass. You got trips at the top of the screen. 3 wideouts. And Greasy back for his first pass. Goes the other way. Complete to Howard. Howard getting a convoy down the field for a first down. At the Colorado 33-yard line. Marcus Washington, the boundary corner, made the tackle for Colorado.
Michigan goes to 4 wide receivers. The Buffaloes come with their nickel package. They want to get into it. It's a screen play. Howard makes enough good moves to get up for a first down.
Put it on the 34-yard line. We had to put cotton gloves on Bob Greasy so he could hold his pencil. His palms are so wet. From the 34, first down. Double wide, top of the picture. And they go back to Howard again, and this time the Buffaloes are waiting for him. Stepping in to fill the hole is the tall, skinny guy who's tougher than a doorknob. Mike Phillips, 6'3", 220, out of Marrero, Louisiana.
Phillips is filling in for a pretty good middle linebacker. Matt Russell from last year won the Butkus Award as the best linebacker in the country. Mike Phillips, not the same style, can run better, but doesn't have the bulk. So Michigan will probably try to run inside of him a little bit more today.
Those 2 tackles in the middle, though, Mau Mau and Olson, boy, they're good.
Yes, they are.
Second down and call it 10. Greasy back, throws underneath. They're trying to set up a wide receiver screen inside. Ty Street will work his way down to the 29. That's a pickup of 5 yards. And the tackle from Sutter, Ryan Sutter, number 36, and Ryan Black, number 6. They are the safeties, and they will come up and put a hat on you.
Michigan offensive line, Keith, has gone through a major change from last year. 4 new starters. Hutchinson, Frazier, Zeman, and Bax are all new starters this year.
Ben Kelly has come onto the field now as they go for a nickel package. No, he comes in to replace Ryan Black in an obvious passing circumstance. Greasy back, lets it go underneath. The pass is thrown hard, caught, and it is short of the first down. Chris Howard caught it right in front of Ryan Sutter, and now Michigan will have a decision. It'll be 4th down.
Well, the question is it too long for a field goal, Keith? As you take a look, the pass protection is very good. Offensive line doing well early in the ball game.
Craig Baker has come out on the field with his kicking tee, so he's going to try one. They'll put it down just short of the 35, so it'll be a 45-yard field goal try. Brian Greasy holds it. The kick is up. And no good. Hooked it off to the left. And so the Wolverines are unable to penetrate the 25, and they come away empty. So they've each had a possession, and there's no score.
Chili's famous fajitas are legendary marinades. fiery and tender. Something special happens with every order. They're guaranteed to capture your attention and your appetite.
When my grandfather surfed the Bonsai Pipeline, narrow boards ruled. Eventually, Gramps had a stroke of genius. A wider board for better control. He said, wider is better.
Presenting the new wide-track Grand Prix Sports Sedan. Its wheels are set wide to hold the road for more control when you're shooting the curves.
It's true.
The new wide-track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is better.
Presenting the Valvoline Big Play Rebate and Sweepstakes. Save $4 on a case of Valvoline Motor Oil, and you could win one of 6 Mark Martin signature Ford Thunderbirds. Here comes Mark now. He's up and right on the money. Valvoline, the #1 choice of top mechanics.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
All that you can be.
This is not your father's FBI. C-16 in 2 weeks on ABC.
Well, we've gone through the first series, and both quarterbacks have been able to catch all the snaps so far. So that's a good beginning, believe me.
I was talking with John Hessler on the field yesterday, and a nice young man, fifth-year senior. He had 8 starts in '95, didn't hardly play last year, was kind of inactive, Keith. Only had 25 pass attempts last year, so getting back into the swing of things this year.
They come out with a double tight end alignment. Hessler goes down the middle with it, and the ball is deflected. It's incomplete. Intended for Cheverini. His coach, Rick Neuheisel, says this of #7, John Hessler.
He's extremely tough, both physically and mentally. And it reminds me of Aikman in that respect, in that, you know, Troy would come out of every game with his cut chin. And, you know, it wasn't so much that he was not complaining about it, but it was the idea that there he was with his blood all over him, and his offensive lineman realized he was in the trenches too. And Hessler's a lot like that.
You do need those big uglies believing in you. They hand the ball inside, and the pressure is there. Coming through is number 56 for 26, Eric Mays, to make the tackle. Mays is a co-captain linebacker, and he stepped into the hole and he repped him.
He's a great story, Keith. He came as a walk-on, been a special teams player the last 2 or 3 years, and was voted captain, as you mentioned, which is a big honor here at the University of Michigan.
So there's a loss on the play of 3 yards, 3rd down and 13. 3 wide out to the top of your picture. Hessler's back and he's looking at it. And he gets it away big. He's got Woodson over there. Coverage is intercepted. They challenged Charles Woodson. He put too much air under the ball, and Woodson intercepted it, intended for Cheverini.
Woodson's on Cheverini. He fakes his bump and run, drops back. It's a zone coverage. John threw the ball late. Hessler gets the ball, as you mentioned. It's hanging, and this is not good. Woodson has inside position, boxes his man out, and has enough ability to get up and catch the ball.
I'm a little surprised Cheverini didn't at least put a chop or something on him, trying to knock it loose, but he couldn't reach it.
Yeah, foul him. Interfere with it.
Doesn't matter. It's better than having it on the 45-yard line. Greasy rolls out. He's got a man, Truman, wide open, the tight end. And Truman is rumbling down the sideline to about the 2. Caught from behind by Ryan Sutter. Oh, Jeremy, you'll get a ragging for weeks about that. The play goes for 53 yards.
Michigan likes to go to 2 tight ends. Here's the tight end. He's going to come across as the fake is made. Watch as the tight end on the left side is going to sneak across. Right there, number 80, wide open. If the ball's thrown a little bit further, he could have maybe taken this into the end zone. This is a nice play by Sutter to save the touchdown.
Howard. Murkison got him high. Southard low. Mau's in the middle, and he didn't score. But he did move it down to the 1-yard line, where it is 2nd down and goal. 53-yard pass run play. Greasy to Jeremy Tooman. And Lord of mercy, he got caught from behind. Floyd, touchdown. The extra point try now from Craig Baker.
Craig Baker will attempt the extra point.
It's good. At 9:28 to play in the first quarter. Floyd has just scored his first career touchdown. Michigan 7-0.
So then Doris is driving it, and she says, "But Elliot, I can't feel the road." And I said, "But what do you expect? It's a luxury car." Anyway, we then drive us down the road. Have you ever driven down?
Bored with traditional luxury? It could be time for the supercharged Bonneville, one of the world's most powerful sports sedans.
Do you drive a luxury car, Frank?
You bet your ascot I do. Luxury with attitude. The Bonneville by Pontiac.
Got a taste for something new? Introducing Domino's new pesto crust pizza. Zesty pesto made from sweet basil, parsley, and savory garlic, kneaded right into the dough. Baked, then brushed with pure olive oil, sprinkled with Romano cheese for a truly authentic flavor. New pesto crust pizza, only from Domino's. Try it, or any large one-topping pizza for $9.99 and get a second one-topping for $5.99.
Domino's.
Some of the most admired cars you'll see are owned by the guys who know cars best. They're ASC certified master mechanics, and the #1 brand of motor oil these guys use in their own cars and trucks is Valvoline, makers of Durablend, the leading semi-synthetic for a cleaner engine due to better control of harmful deposits. So use the oil the mechanics who take care of your car use to take care of theirs. Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
The Michigan Wolverines go to the lead by a score of 7-0. The interception by Woodson, a 53-yard pass run play. Greasy to Tooman. Chris Floyd stuck into the end zone. And now Jay Feely will kick it off. Waiting is Marlon Barnes for Colorado along with Ben Kelly. Feely's first kick today was beyond the end zone. This is high, and it is 5 yards deep, and he's Barnes coming out. And he gets to the 19-yard line, and that'll do it.
Let's go back and take a look at the key play on the previous possession by Colorado. I'm sure that the Buffs don't want to throw a lot of balls Woodson's way, but this is one that they threw. 10 interceptions in his career. That was his 11th. He has started every game since he's been at the University of Michigan, Keith. 24 straight starts, freshman, sophomore, now his junior year.
You can't hang it up in the wind like that one and expect to take it home with you.
I'm sure they're not going to try to avoid him all the time.
You got to put some mustard on it when you throw it over there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Colorado at the 19. It's Cutland. And not much doing there. You know, the Michigan defense is a little more aggressive than you may have seen it in the past, because one of those up there tight and in close and involved had come all the way up out of the backfield, Marcus Ray. So there are a lot of different ideas that you're going to see before this day is done from both sides of the ball. Here's Swanee. I'm sorry. Here's John Saunders.
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. You know, NC State started with consecutive road wins this season. The first time they've done that since 1968. Tremaine Stevens takes this one in against Clemson. 5 yards, and it's 7-0. Meanwhile, West Virginia has a touchdown from Amos Zaraway, one of the guys Todd talked about earlier, and they lead Boston College 10-0. Keith.
And North Carolina State's becoming quite a story. Talk about a surprise team early in the year. NC State gets my vote. Aaron Wade had to come off the field for Colorado. Hessler back to throw. Throws. Pass is caught by Chris Anderson. Anderson's a big guy at 6'4", 215 pounds from LaPorte, Texas. And he's going to move the chains for the Buffaloes as he makes that catch at the 33-yard line in front of William Peterson. Peterson is one of the precocious freshmen that'll be playing a lot this season. There are a lot of freshmen on both rosters, but particularly true freshmen on the Michigan roster.
More than I can ever remember, Keith. In Michigan, they always have said, well, we're going to redshirt all the true freshmen. There are 5 or 6 that may play in this game today.
Troutman is your deep man. Hessler back. Goes into the middle. The ball is thrown high and hard and could not pull it down. It was intended for Tennyson McCarty. Coming up next, America's biggest road show rolls on. Live regional action beginning at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Many of you will see Ron Paulus leading Notre Dame at Purdue, Ricky Williams in Texas against UCLA, Maryland, Florida State. Check your local listings for the game on your ABC station or the games available from your cable operator. And if he doesn't have what you want, give him the business. On the 33, first down for the Buffaloes. Blitz coming. Down on the 30. Troutman never had a chance. Marcus Ray coming out of the secondary again. A safety blitzing on the play.
Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator, mixing it up very nicely. Here's Marcus Ray. He's a strong safety. Watches the hole will open up. The lineman will part. The offensive lineman block, and Ray gets in there. Nice disguise by the defense. Keith, you just can't get up there and show Hessler. He'll check it off every time and beat you. You got to disguise it, move up at the right time, and then get across the line of scrimmage. Hessler only 1 out of 6 for 10 yards and an interception.
The Buffaloes have played a game. They played Colorado State and won by 10 last week. This is Michigan's opener. Pressure coming again to pass away in a hurry. Goes to Troutman out of the backfield. The Wolverines just eat it up. Charles Woodson came that time.
Woodson is now the nickelback. He slid inside, comes unabated. Hessler feels the pressure. Nice job of getting it to his screening back. But tell you, Keith, the more times you get knocked down, I mean, he's a tough kid. We all know that. But you know, he'll throw the ball a little quicker the next time, maybe.
It's important to put that quarterback on his back. Charles Woodson is waiting for the punt from Nick Peach. His first one was an 18-yarder. A little better this time. High hanger, and Woodson calls for the fair catch back at the 32-yard line, where Michigan will have it first down.
We talk about big players, impact players. Charles Woodson is one of them. He is the best defensive back coming back. This is last year's numbers. They didn't throw a lot at him, so he didn't get many pass breakups, only 5 interceptions. First team All-American offense. Every time he touched the ball, he averaged 16 yards, and he's going to do more special teams this year.
Says he's in better shape and stronger than he's ever been in his life.
I don't blame Carr for wanting him to use him more.
Handoff inside Chris Floyd. Chris Floyd is 231-pound running back from Detroit. Big and strong, and Michigan would love to just sit in there and hunker down and root you around and get a lead on you. And,
well, that's right.
Beat you to death.
They want to run the ball. Chris Floyd, the fullback, doesn't get a lot of carries. They give it to him every now and then to keep him happy, but he is a blocker. And a darn good blocker.
You've got a running back, Clarence Williams, up there in the slot position as a wideout right now, so he's a tailback. When he gets it, he knows what to do with it. Greasy throws behind Russell Shaw. He had Shaw available in front of the defender, but he didn't deliver it to him. Ryan Sutter was covering the boundary. There was pressure coming from Hannibal Navies, number 8 for Colorado. He's worth keeping your eye on when you have a chance to watch him, because he's 6'3", 245 pounds, and he is a dynamite linebacker.
and beside all that, he runs the 40 in about 4.4. He is quick.
All right, Colorado making defensive changes, trying to match up with Michigan's offense. Wolverines have 3 wideouts. They hand it inside. It goes to Chris Howard. And Chris Howard is taken down with some suddenness at the 36-yard line.
A 3rd and 8, a very conservative call. Michigan has done this in the past, Keith. They're playing defense. They're playing their strong suit, and don't make any mistakes on offense. And that's what we're seeing here early on in this ball game.
Jason Benson, the new punter for Michigan. Corey Sargent figured that he would be the man, recruited for that, but he has a bad back. Jason Benson, however, in his first collegiate punt right now, is a junior walk-on, but has a big leg. And he's got a good kick, forcing Herschel Troutman into a fair catch call back at the 27-yard line. First down, Colorado. That was a 38-yard punt.
These days, it seems like everything is the official something of somebody. What's next? The official soft drink? The team mascot? Look at this guy right here, and this one here, and his girlfriend, and his kid. See, they're drinking Dr. Pepper just because it tastes great. It's kind of the official soft drink of everyone else. Like this guy with the bratwurst. He executes a one-handed switch. You can't coach this stuff. It's a thing of beauty. Hey, who's doing that? I do that. What's going on? Hey.
Okay, guys, going out for lunch. You know the rules. Hey,
sweeties, you being good? Better be, or no doggy bags for you. Oh, and Scooter, get off the counter.
Ericsson mobile phones. That's the power of voice.
Pets are so much trouble. Huh, not my little angel.
Even after 11 years, there are more Grand Ams still tearing along than any car in its class. So you can count on having a good time for a good, long time. Grand Am, built for kicks, built for keeps. Now a good time is a great value with 2.9% financing for up to 60 months or $1,500 cash back on any new Grand Am. But step on it, because even though a Grand Am lasts a long time, this offer won't. Grand Am, built for kicks, built for keeps. Drive it at your Pontiac dealer today.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the Pontiac Grand Am, built for kicks, built for keeps. By Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. By Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. And by Circuit City, answers in every department, low prices all over the store. Today's aerial shots are being provided by the Bud 1 airship, reminding you that fresh beer tastes better. Yep, that's blue sky. Folks around this neck of the woods haven't seen a whole lot of that lately. From the 27, first down for the Colorado Buffaloes, who are without their starting tackle, Aaron Wade. Hessler is back to throw the ball, getting some heat, gets it off. Troutman catches, but falls down. And there's an advance maybe of 2 yards.
Colorado throwing on first down, Keith. Michigan defensively doing a nice job of mixing it up. Zone, man-to-man, some blitzes, and when the front four only is rushing, they're doing a nice job of putting some pressure. That front four, that's Rena's 58, Williams is 91, Steele and Hall.
Second down and 8.
Here they come.
Pass to the sideline, thrown high and incomplete for Severini. Here's Swanee.
Well, Kate, the medical report on Aaron Wade is he strained the medial collateral ligaments in his left knee. Now, what they've done is they taped up the knee, they put a brace on it. They're going to see how he feels, but right now, they're not sure whether or not he will be able to go back in the ball game. Again, strained the medial collateral ligaments in his left knee. Keith?
Ryan Bedell has gone in to replace Wade at that left guard position. Wade's a big loss for him. 3rd and 8. Hobson to the left. Hessler can't get around the corner. Wolverines defended that very, very well.
It's interesting call. Rick Neuheisel makes all the third down calls, and he says we're not getting anything done inside or throwing. An option is a special thing to a defense. If you're blitzing, one of the things you can stop very easily is a blitz. He tried it, and it didn't work.
Deontay Jones, a sophomore out of Pontiac. No, I'm sorry, out of Potomac, Maryland, made that tackle. So the Buffaloes are continuing to do the tango. 1-2-3 kick, and it's a low line drive, and Woodson's got a little room. Got away from one, gets a little help on the corner, caught from behind at the 35. 38-yard punt, 5-yard return.
You got to know history to be smart in this game. This is what they did last year. Look at the time of possession. Michigan dominated almost 9 more minutes. Rushing attempts, passing yardage. Michigan controlled the football. Colorado 14 penalties in the ball game. But this is where they're coming from. Michigan wants to duplicate it. Ball control.
Penalties were a problem for the Buffaloes a year ago. They had a bunch. Greasy back on first down to the sideline. Ball is caught over there by Ty Streets, number 86. And Streets will pick up 8, close to 9 yards on the play. Give you an idea of the quickness of Hannibal Davies. He was over there to make the play on Ty Streets. Colorado had 97 penalties.
The most
last year.
The most ever, Keith. They obviously were the most penalized team in the Big 12, but that's more than they've ever had at Colorado.
Chris Howard, backfield, has the ball. Crosses midfield. That's a first down for Michigan at the Colorado 46-yard line.
Well, that offensive line, Keith, albeit is young, and Zach Adamy is his returning starter that's not in there. But this young offensive line is really coming through. Zeman is 52 with a little trap. Frazier, the center, so far passing the test.
77 is John Jansen, a captain, 6'7", 299. And if you believe 299, then you believe in fairy tales, because he had breakfast. Williams in the backfield, number 33, and Clarence has a yard. That'll do it. There's nothing there for him that time as he came out of that single back posture. Here's some excitement now for the Michigan Wolverines. Number 32 has come into the lineup. His name is Anthony Thomas. He's 6'2", 229. He is a freshman from Winfield, Louisiana. And every coach to a man, their eyes just fairly glow when they talk about number 32, Thomas.
This kid could be good, Keith.
Out of the shotgun, Thomas has got it. Some pressure on him. The butterflies are gone now that he's taken a lick or two as he runs it up the middle. At the conclusion of the game today, Chevrolet's most valuable players from each team. Chevrolet over the last quarter century, $6.5 million to age students at our colleges and universities. All right, Thomas has been baptized. And back into the ball game comes Chris Floyd. It is 3rd down and 5 for Michigan. Do you like this formation? Where the quarterback gets that little bit of distance?
Oh, the shotgun?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I like it in passing situations. You can see the pass rush a lot better than when you're coming back from the snap.
We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
You did it. You're quitting smoking. That's great. Now comes your first test.
This one's gonna be brutal, folks.
But you've got Nicoderm CQ, and CQ is better at calming the morning cravings that tempt you to reach for that first cigarette. You can wear CQ 24 hours if you crave a cigarette when you first wake up. And CQ is better than Nicotrol at calming morning cravings. Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to quit successfully.
Green Bay is a small town. When someone leaves here, it means something. It means the entire community's been diminished. It means an acquaintance, a neighbor, a friend has left your life forever. Most importantly, it means there's now some extra seats available for Sunday's game.
Well, it's awfully tough to get tickets from the Super Bowl champs. It's absolutely impossible with American Express. So bring your Visa card.
Go Packers.
The official card of the NFL.
Can insurance set you free?
At the Hartford, we believe insurance should be liberating. So our auto and homeowners insurance leave you with only one thing to worry about: getting the most out of life.
We're back to Ann Arbor, Michigan Stadium. Crowd's over 100,000 for the 136th consecutive time. Grass is green, the birds are singing, and everybody's happy. It is 3rd down and 5 for Michigan at the Colorado 42-yard line. And Michigan wiggling around up front. It was the tight end, Kuman, I think. Jeremy got off balance. Like perhaps Brian had changed
false start
the count a bit.
5-yard penalty.
His tight end was leaning, and that backs him up 5, and now it is 3rd and 10.
Talking with A.J. Kristoff, Rick Neuheisel's defensive coordinator the other day, he was saying that what he wanted to do was stop Michigan's run. He knew what they're going to do. Stop them from keeping the ball.
They'll set on it till it hatches. Greasy's pass is right on the money, but it's off the hands of Ty Street and intercepted by Colorado's Marcus Washington. So a look what I found interception for Marcus Washington. That ball should have been caught.
Well, the ball was well thrown, but it was batted up in the air. These are the kind you have to catch. Take a look from behind the defense. You got to throw it over a couple of linebackers. Streets has to get up in the air for this one. You got to catch that ball. He had his hands together. You got to split your hands to be able to catch the ball.
Marcus Washington comes up with his 2nd interception. He had a big one last week in the game against Colorado State.
Yes,
the Buffaloes.
Yes, he did.
At the 37-yard line with the 1st down in the closing minutes of the 1st quarter of play. They run Troutman up the middle, and Herschel will pop in there for about 6 yards.
Colorado, their first 4 possessions, they didn't do a whole lot with them. They didn't have good field position. They had 3 punts and then 1 interception that set up the Michigan touchdown.
Hefner, the tight end, leaves now. Chiaverini going to the top of your picture. Savoy is the man on the near side. Hessler gives it away. At the line of scrimmage, there is a massive collision between Eric Mays and Herschel Troutman, and Mays wins.
One of the things that Michigan does makes it so tough. Watch the linemen as they all go to slant. This messes up the blocking assignments. When they slant to the right, the linebackers will cover up by going in the other direction. Michigan has always been known as a slanting team, which makes it tough to run on.
3rd down now and 3 for the Buffaloes. Diggers is the man at the very top, and he's a burner. They go underneath, however, and get the 1st down to Chris Anderson. Anderson making the catch at the Michigan 49-yard line. And voila, for the first time today, the Buffaloes are on the Wolverines side of the field. Tommy Hendricks, number 41, in there defensively for Michigan. Lloyd Carr, his 3rd year at the University of Michigan, though he joined Bo Schembechler's staff in 1980. Came out of Tennessee. 10-year-old came to Michigan with his family. Hessler on 1st down. Has time. Passes away for Savoy, and he just lost control of the ball. He turned back to his right, did not have a handle on the ball, and threw a wounded goose.
Well, he was throwing, John was throwing, it looked like he had plenty of time. There was no rush. Savoy was running a streak, and he threw it like it was running a comeback. He threw it like he expected him to break it off at about 18 yards and then come back. It looked like right there he started to come back, and then he says, oh, I've got him beat. Let's throw the touchdown, throw the takeoff. And Hessler was throwing the comeback.
That's how important perspective is, folks. I know Big Ugly up here thinks he lost control of the ball. The quarterback said the receiver ran the wrong route.
Well, you have to have been there, I guess, to know.
Second down and 10. The first quarter is over. And you know what? Nope, they stop it at 2 seconds. Well, if we can make it through the next 2 seconds, we'll have played the first quarter in this ball game without a penalty flag. That's new.
A new set of academic standards for freshmen is now in effect.
To practice, play, and receive an athletic scholarship, freshmen will need a minimum grade point average in at least 13 core courses in high school and a corresponding minimum score on the ACT or SAT. Ask your coach or guidance counselor about the new sliding scale and requirements.
Prepare yourself now. You want to play? Know the rules.
This message provided by the NCAA.
This is almost my last hour alive, probably. I gotta spend it staring at you. Thank you, God.
Greg's pants. He's not in them right now.
1 week from Wednesday, it's Spin City. Dharma and Greg, Drew Carey, and Ellen. If it's a good time you're looking for.
The final 2 seconds of the first quarter. It is Herschel Compton, and he runs it over the left side, and the quarter is done. So we do, in fact, finish the first period without a single penalty flag on the Colorado Buffalo. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
The Document Company, Xerox.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
We're talking about personal fouls. In this play, the defensive player commits unnecessary roughness on the ball carrier. What is the penalty?
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia is in our lives.
State Farm, Mike Garcia speaking.
We had a house fire, house burned.
That was a tough day.
They didn't treat us as a policy holder, they treated us as a neighbor, as a friend.
I gave him a check right away. We went from there to putting the pieces back together.
He's not a hero in the sense of a sports hero or a movie star. He's a quiet hero.
He looks out for everyone in the neighborhood.
It's gone from being a slogan to really being my way of life.
We're talking about personal fouls. In this play, the defensive man commits unnecessary roughness on the ball carrier. 15-yard penalty tacked on from the end of the run.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're watching ABC.
Are you looking for a healthcare organization that gives you a choice of doctor, pharmacy, and vision services? Doctors who listen and answer your questions. Helpful, knowledgeable operators, and 24-hour care just in case. And which is financially stable, here for you now and in the future. That's Total Healthcare. Totally available, totally helpful. Total Healthcare.
Mike Holfield, Denise Dedore, Channel 7 Action News.
This is college football on ABC Sports. To the second quarter we go now with the Buffaloes. 3rd down and 8. The ball is on the Michigan 47-yard line. Michigan leads in the ball game 7-0. John Hessler has a lot of time and throws a bullet complete to Chris Anderson in traffic. 1st down, Colorado at the 36.
Anderson is the man making the catches. That's 3. Take a look at the first quarter stats. 100 yards for Michigan, only 37 for the Buffaloes. Each team has had a turnover. Michigan doing a lot better on average yards per play.
This would be a very good year for Chris Anderson to step up. They've been expecting a lot out of him. He's a senior this year. 1st down for the Bucs. They run it with traffic. Nothing doing. There's penetration all along that front. James Hall and Sam Sword. Sam Sword is backed up by Rob Sweat. Marvelous names. Got to be Big Ugly rolling around in the mud and the blood. And here's the man that controls the Michigan defense this year.
Moved up to defensive coordinator. Greg Madison moved over to Notre Dame as their coordinator. And Lloyd Carr paid him a high compliment. He says in time that Jim Herman will be one of the best coordinators they've ever had in Michigan.
Second down and 10.
He might already be one of the best.
Hessler getting a little heat. Pass is off. Takes an arm to do that, folks. Bill Savoy. Josh Williams, number 91, was in pursuit of him, a 271-pounder, with full intent to maim him, and Hessler running to the left, but got it away on the number.
But you said it, Keith. Michigan had some pressure. 91 inside is Williams, but the mobility of the quarterback and the arm strength, John just made this play right here.
Try this.
Throws it back inside.
Ordinary person has dislocated their shoulder.
And Savoy did a nice job of finding an open area.
Marlon Barnes is checked into the lineup now for Colorado. Hessler still got it. He takes the left. It's intercepted. Intercepted by the Michigan Wolverines. Number 41, Tommy Hendricks. Again, pressure's involved.
You're right, Keith. They got the blitz coming. Hessler got turned around. They're going to have a blitz on the outside. This one's going to blitz. Right here is Hendricks. He's going to move to his left side. Watch the two left guys standing up. They're blitzing. Now Hessler gets turned around. He doesn't see Hendricks coming back from the outside. He thought he had a man with nobody on him. He doesn't get a lot on the ball because there's pressure, and Hendricks makes a nice play.
And we got a sack full of penalty flags on that call. Jack Teets is the referee.
Dead ball, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That'll put them back on the 10-yard line where it'll be first down and 15. You see that face? Competitor, boy. Brighton, Colorado.
Both teams are going against pretty darn good defenses, Keith.
On first and 15, Greasy hands the ball off to Chris Howard. And Howard will get it back to about the 15-yard line where it'll be second down and 10. 13-10 to go in the first half. Michigan leading 7-0.
Rick just giving him a piece of his mind. You know, sometimes that's good, Keith. They're good friends. Hessler gives Neuheisel a lot of credit for his development, but sometimes to shake him loose, wake him up, or whatever, instead of grabbing him by the shoulders and shaking him and says, come on, start playing, he's doing it verbally.
And he has a rapier. Here's the penalty flag in the backfield of Michigan. So that play loses half a yard or so. So they may choose to decline this one.
Rick was telling me the other day that Hessler always plays well in big games. And he said, at least that's what I'm going to tell him, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. He's trying to convince him that you're going to play well. I mean, and I think that's good.
They got a holding call against the Wolverines. And they're discussing whether or not Colorado wants to accept it. Mike Phillips is the man talking to the referee.
On the offense, half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, second down.
So being up on the 15.
A little surprised they accepted that, Keith. They only got half the distance. It would have been third down. What this tells me is the Buffaloes have a lot of confidence in that defense. They want to create something down here, give their offense some good field position.
Winds up a 10-yard penalty. Second down and 20 coming up now for Michigan. 12:20 to play in the first half. And the Colorado defense now trying to pin them right there. This is Chris Floyd. Penalty flag. Floyd comes out to the 10-yard line. He picks up 5 yards on the carry. But again, I think you may have a Michigan penalty. Yep, against Michigan. Procedure. Here's Swanee. Lynn Swan.
Keith, you're talking about John Hessler and his conversation with Rick Neuheisel on the sideline. From what I'm noticing in this game, he seems to have a control problem throwing the football. Now, I know Rick wants to talk to him, but to me it seems it would be almost better, much better, if he was on the sideline, had a football in his hand, was throwing the football to a receiver on the sideline, trying to work through his problems, trying to work out his technique. If it's just a matter of adrenaline, he can throw the ball and calm down a little bit so he can be an effective leader, Keith.
All right, 3rd down and 15 now. Little sidearm around the corner by Bryan is thrown out to Tooman up around the 17, 18-yard line. He couldn't get it over the top because there was a big old man in his face, so he threw it just under his elbow.
Did a nice job of throwing it around him. Keith, I think Hessler's problem is not so much his technique or what he's doing, not doing. I think the problem is there's a bunch of Wolverines in his face.
I think you're
and
right.
They're doing a nice job of getting pressure, and that's causing a lot of the other problems, throwing off balance and whatever.
Right here, the Colorado defense has done its job. They've pinned the Wolverines, and now they've got to punt the ball. Benson steps up and hits it at the 8-yard line, and it's a high beauty. Whoa, that's a dandy. Trotman all the way back to his 34-yard line. Penalty flag thrown. Colorado's going to get hit with a push in the back. That's a 48-yard punt, and that return of 13 yards, I think, is going to be nullified by a penalty. Push in the back, I'm pretty sure. Looked like Marcus Washington. Illegal use of hands against the Colorado Buffaloes, and that'll take them back up the field. So John Hessler comes back onto the field now after a spirited conversation with his coach.
Are you going to fix that fence today?
Yep. 1948 was the first year for Ford F-Series, and after 50 years, there are more tough F-Series trucks still on the road today than any other make. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough for 50 years strong.
It's been 50 years, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe it's about time you fixed that fence.
Yeah.
Got a great practice today. I know you guys are hungry, but this new Big King gave me an idea for a new play. So listen up. Quarterback takes off tackle, whips the ball, the guard pulls, we hand off to the wingback. Wingback is up the gut for a touchdown. Any questions?
Coach, can I eat my blocker now?
The new Big King from Burger King, plain broiled with 75% more beef. It's like a Big Mac, except it's bigger and tastes better. And right now, you can get one for just 99 cents.
Got any more new plays, Coach?
On September 26th, nature will push you to extremes.
He's toying with us.
But only man can push you to the edge.
Why would I want to kill you, Charles? For my wife. I've seen you with her.
Anthony Hopkins.
You want to die out here.
I don't want to hear it!
Alec Baldwin.
What one man can do, another can do! Look at me!
The Edge, rated R. September 26th, only in theaters.
So, where are you going? Going to the big game.
See Notre Dame, Texas, or Florida State in regional action next.
Colorado defense had done their job. They had pinned Michigan, but Benson came in and just kicked the air out of the ball, plus a penalty against Colorado, and the line of scrimmage point of the snap moved 56 yards downfield. So Colorado starts first down at their own 29-yard line. And Hessler looking and looking and looking. Now he's got somebody to go to, and the ball is off the hands of Phil Savoy.
Needs some help. You got to give him some help.
The Home Depot Chalk Talk. Colorado Buffaloes in 25 games under Rick Neuheisel. You can see the numbers. They are prolific, averaging 33 points a game, 450 yards. The record, obviously pretty good when you're producing those first two sets of numbers. 21-4.
I asked Carl Durrell, the offensive coordinator, if they were going to try to run the ball. He says, the head coach was a quarterback. I was a wide receiver. You think we're not going to throw the ball?
There's another penalty flag thrown to the linesman. The play is good out to about the 43.
to Chris Anderson, who's having a big day, but this may come back. The officials very quiet in the first quarter, but they're dirty in the laundry in the second. It's against Colorado. Jim Bushowski is your umpire. The linesman is Steve Beckman. Line judge is Don Langlow. Field judge Bob Colburn. Side judge is Norm Nelson, and the back judge is John Langen.
There's a look at Carl. He was a wide receiver at UCLA when Rick was the quarterback. I asked Carl if Rick has changed, and he said, well, yeah, he said, we're opposite personalities. I'm quiet, and he's kind of outgoing, a singer and a guitar player, but he said he's starting to listen to me a little bit more.
There are two freshmen in the secondary now for Michigan, Dwayne Patman out of San Diego and James Whitley out of Norfolk, Virginia. They're true freshmen, but they can play. Timeout call by Michigan. 11:24 to go in the first half. Wolverines leading in the ball game by a score of 7-0.
Think we're ready?
30 run-throughs? Yeah.
Room 708 wants to win the account that will make him famous. Room 610 wants to fix the typo she just found. Room 315 wants to iron his meeting clothes, including his socks. Room 412 wants a pizza. Business Services by Marriott. When you're comfortable, you can do anything.
This is actually a family car, but that could be your little secret. Ford Taurus.
Now get $1,500 cash back on Ford Taurus.
Hot to the house with the latest flavor that everybody loves. Domino's Pesto Crust Pizza. Seasoned with garlic, basil, and parsley. Baked into a classic hand-tossed crust. Sprinkled with zesty herbs and tangy Romano cheese. Always made fresh when you call and delivered hot to your house. Now order any large one-topping pizza for $9.99 and get a second one of equal or lesser value for $5.99.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength. By Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. By Domino's Pizza, who brings you their newest crust sensation, Pesto Crust. And by The Hartford. Bring it on. The Budweiser blimp and its eye-in-the-sky camera providing you with these live shots 1,000 feet above Michigan Stadium, where resides for a little while this afternoon close to 105,000 folks. And they're cheering loudly as their defensive fellows are doing a fine job. Clint Copenhaver gets the call here on Marlon Barnes.
Keith, the defense is really playing well. Watch the two linebackers as at the right time, just before the ball is snapped, they're going to scoot up and blitz at a timely fashion. That tells me that they've got the snap count for the Buffaloes pretty much down. What the Buffaloes should do is change the snap count, go on quick counts and long counts. Michigan is disguising, and at the right minute, their linebackers are coming across the line of scrimmage.
It is 3rd down and 16 now, and here comes that blitz again as Woodson delivers the hit on Hessler, but Hessler delivers the ball to Anderson, and he makes the catch for a first down.
This is just a great throw and catch. Woodson was all over Hessler, and Anderson making a lot of big plays today. Woodson scooting in from his coverage position, blitzing with all the speed that he has. Hessler just barely gets rid of it. Oh, that's great. Great throw, good camera work. Copenhaver, the outside linebacker, didn't even see the ball coming. You can't do it any better than that.
Anderson, Bob, has 4 catches for 45 yards,
yeah,
and 3 of those have been right over the middle. And that's where your ears ring a little bit when you go down the middle.
You got that. He's a big guy, Keith. He's 6'4", over 210. and he can handle that pressure in there, the contact.
Barnes the deep man. Buffaloes with the first down. Kessler keeps it. He's fearless. He doesn't worry about that. ABC's college football online right now with a live real-time play-by-play display from all of our games. All America Online. Keyword is ABC Sports.
Rick Neuheisel, that's the second option that he's run. He's figuring if Michigan is going to be blitzing up the middle, I'm going around the end with my option. Good thinking.
Second down and 5. Ball just short of the 45. Hessler, short drop, gets his first down. Pass complete to Cheverini. Darren is out of Corona, California. Lakey youngster. Enjoyed visiting with him yesterday.
He was very interesting to talk to. He was bright-eyed and friendly. Yeah, just came up and started chatting. I think they bent the post over there.
I think it's bent. Yeah. I'm out for the equipment.
When a player gets close to those poles over there, those poles should be dropped and not held by those sideline attendants.
Well, I remember one time Dennis Dummett, who was a quarterback for UCLA, slid into one of those things, and the fellow dropped it, and it stuck in Dennis's leg.
It should not have a point on the end of them.
Oh, you're right. That was just a terrifying thing. They've changed the equipment some since then. It's at midfield. It'll be first down. The ball is square on it. John Hessler from Brighton, Colorado, small town, 18 of 28, 223 yards and 2 touchdowns with an interception in the ball game against CSU. Of course, he stepped into the limelight and center stage at Colorado 2 years ago when Coy Detmer went down with injury, and he picked up the pieces and carried them on to a 10-2 season. He sat and watched last year while they went 10-2 again.
He set 12 school records 2 years ago when he had 9 starts, but like I said, he only threw 25 passes last year. And now he's getting his opportunity. I think what they should do, Keith, is shorten their drops. Go 3 steps and throw quickly, because Michigan is disrupting them when they take deeper drops and run shorter slants and some fades and do some of that stuff. Quicker passing. There you go, Charles Woodson. Colorado has thrown 17 passes. Only 2 of them have been in Woodson's direction. They completed one and the other was picked off. I think they're going to be avoiding him most of the day. A little respect there. You can't avoid him completely, Keith, because sometimes the read is going to take you to throw at Charles Woodson. But
well, the game we saw last Saturday night in the Coliseum, Florida State threw at Brian Kelly something like 15 times.
Yeah, and they stayed away from McCutcheon on the other side.
Kelly could have had an interception, and it could have been a play that could have won the game. I guess could have, would have, should have, but he still played a heck of a ball game to have that many balls thrown at him. 9:34 remaining to play in the game, and we're waiting for a new pole to pull the chain with. Anybody bring a banjo?
Is that the 10-yard marker?
That's what you remember. Like Willie says, you can't play a sad song with a banjo.
There you go. He's holding the pole up, so you're going to get it bent right there. I mean, yeah. No, you got to drop it. That's bent. That's good. That's bent really good.
Tonight on ABC, the 77th annual Miss America pageant, live from Atlantic City. And this year, I'll have you know that 2-piece swimsuits are allowed in the competition. All for one are the musical guests. That's tonight, Miss America on ABC.
What do you think about that, Hoss? You like that 2-piece bathing suit stuff?
Don't matter none to me.
As I look down the booth at his wife, Turi Ann, and she laughs as much as all of us.
Bob Keith. They got the new poles out, but the problem wasn't trying to get a straight pole. It's the chains were all tangled up. They spent the last 2 minutes just untangling, and Doc Crease, their weight instructor, was getting ready just to snap them in half.
I don't blame you. We're getting kind of tired of it, too. A handoff goes to Troutman. Troutman picks up a couple of yards on the play. You're one of the good hands guys. You should have gone over there and taken care of it. Bach is rolling along with Michigan leading Colorado by a score of 7-0. Aaron Wade is gone for the day, as we heard. Got a ligament tear. So they lose the big guard out of Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Ryan Bedell, his replacement.
8 starters returned on this offense for Colorado, Keith. So they've got some veterans both on the offense and defense.
2nd down and 8. Troutman goes in motion. Hessler's pass thrown to an open field.
Went the wrong way. The back went the wrong way.
Acres and acres of grass. Nobody there.
There's 2 tight ends and only 1 back. He's going this way. Watch, when he comes back, he's going to throw the ball to our left. Now, I didn't see a screen right or left, so I don't do this very often. But it may have been the quarterback throwing it the wrong way.
Would have been.
Because I didn't see any linemen going out to the right or left. But I got to hang with my quarterbacks.
3rd down and 8 now, and the Michigan crowd starting to get into it. And I'll tell you what, there's still confusion between some of the receivers and the quarterback. And John Hessler says, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go to the man. And he calls timeout. 8:51 to play, and we've sort of bogged down here for just a minute.
You stink. Get off the stage. Your mother's an iguana.
Hey, my mother's half iguana.
I'm sorry. I meant no disrespect.
Can you insure something you're not sure of? At the Hartford, we help small businesses take on uncertainties with customized plans and financial products designed to help you take risks, not just protect you from them.
Frankie, let me ask you a question.
Yeah?
These frogs, do they really taste like chicken?
I'm not answering that.
I'm just curious.
Stop it.
Come on, it's barbecue season. Would you marinate them? Would you slow cook them? We could toss them over a salad.
The time has come. Your journey is here. You're on to big things and a whole new frontier. You've packed all your bags in every size. You're dreaming big dreams and saying goodbyes. So whether you hail from city or town or village or hamlet, from miles around, you're on to big things and it's your turn to try. Life is a journey, so set your sights high.
Keith, I think that was a good timeout that Colorado took because they were a little disorganized. It's a big play. You're across the 50-yard line. It's 3rd down. But take a timeout and get this play right. This is critical here.
Double wide, the man on the boundary is Savoy. Copenhagen puts the pressure on. Pass is bounced in front of Stigger. Incomplete.
Could have run it. Look at it. He says, run it. All we needed was 8 yards. We could have run it. But when you're out there scrambling, you're so in tune to finding somebody to throw to. Why didn't you run?
So Nick Beach. Come on. John Hessler is getting his calling.
Well, you know, there's a lot of time left in this game. There's a lot of time for him to come back and make big plays and win it.
7-0.
Yeah,
My
exactly,
goodness.
Exactly.
Woodson is waiting for Peach's punt. Got pressure on him, but he got it away, and he got a beauty away, and Woodson calls a fair catch, so the Wolverines don't have a lot of room behind them at the 8-yard line. week's Marriott moment features Michigan's comeback win against Ohio State last year. Brian Greasy was center stage. And Greasy's first pass drilled to Ty Street. He's wide open and gone for a touchdown.
It's a special game, and for me to come in and play that game for Michigan was a tremendous thrill for me, and to come out with a victory was great.
A lot of frustration built up over 3 or 4 years, Keith, and that was an exciting time for him.
I'll bet. This is Chris Howard in at the running back, and we'll move it up across the 10 a bit, about 2.5-yard pickup.
Kid's doing pretty well today, 6 of 8, 85 yards and the 1 interception. Michigan is, you know, being a little conservative on offense, much different than Colorado. As we mentioned this in the opening. Michigan wants to play the strength of their defense, a ball control, don't make any mistakes, don't help Colorado. Colorado's coming out, they're going to throw, they're going to try and score points.
Colorado doesn't need me. This is Clarence Williams around the corner. And a penalty flag. And I may have dinged Ty Streets with that yellow flag. But I think that play will, though good for a first down, will come back.
I think you hit it, Keith. Holding on the wide receiver block. Just knocking some water. I think he's sweating over there. He's just knocking some water out of his headset.
Emptying my earmuffs. Ball comes back to the 8-yard line now. Just inside 8 minutes to go in the first half. 7-0 the Wolverines. The game started out at a very brisk pace in the first quarter. It slowed dramatically here in the second. Michigan now got to be careful. They're second down, 11. Buffalo's jumping around on defense. Give it to Clarence Williams, and Clarence has no room. Jumping in there to make the tackle. Honorable Davies.
Now, Michigan doesn't want to take any chances down here, so they're going to be conservative. 2 tight ends, run it out. You know, don't turn it over, just punt it away. Let our defense play. Of course, Colorado and A.J. Kristoff knows that, so they're stacked against the run.
What did A.J. say when you were talking to him the other day? Didn't he ask you if Ryan had a black jacket?
We had a nice conversation, and A.J. said, well, tell Ryan, you know, have a good game, and be sure to get that big flak jacket out.
This is a play up the middle for Chris Howard. And Chris will wiggle it out to the 15 or so, but they're going to have to punt this ball away. Ron Merkerson's put on some weight this year. That big old 33 playing linebacker for Colorado. He's a good one.
Michigan in their first game coming out, there's a look at Merkerson, and he's a good one, Keith. Very conservative. They don't want to, you know, do anything. They got the game in control right now, so they're just being conservative with it.
Can also be discouraging to the other team. Well, so far, Vinson showing us a pretty good leg. The walk-on punter. Herschel Trotman accepts the kick back at his own 45-yard line. That's a 40-yard punt and no return, and we go to John Saunders.
Keith, it's time for the Burger King update in the West Virginia-Boston College game. Bob Baum, interception, set this up. Mark Bolger to Sean Foreman on the touchdown pass. 17-3 right now. West Virginia looking for their 3rd straight victory to start the season. Back to you.
Well, Don Nehlen put another team together over there in Morgantown. This is the best starting field position that Colorado has had in the game.
It's really a continuation, Keith, of that last drive. When they punted the ball inside the 10, Michigan had to punt it back. Now here they go again.
Defense held them. Offense has a chance. Hustler got a penalty flag thrown. You probably got holding called here as the ball is bounced in front of Cheverini. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a holding call coming here against Colorado. Yep.
Here's a pretty good matchup here. Woodson on the left, jams him at the line of scrimmage. Savoy on the right. Both of these guys are on most of your preseason All-American teams. Savoy running a little down and in and back out. He was open for a second. He got some separation. If it was at the right time for the ball, that would have been a completion.
Last year in Boulder, this happened. Well, Savoy got his touchdown last year, and Charles has been mulling it over since.
Yeah, he's had a year to think about it, hasn't he?
That's a 17-yard penalty now. It's a spot of the foul call, and it goes back 17 yards to make it a 1st and 27.
That game, Keith, last year in Boulder, the Buffaloes offensively only scored 2 touchdowns.
Right. That's right.
They had 13 points. They missed an extra point, but had trouble with this defense last year.
Pressure's coming, passes away. It is intercepted. No, not intercepted. Sam Sword went to the grass tops trying to find it, but didn't quite get it clean. Meantime, Eric Mays was tormenting John Hessler.
Good word, Keith. Tormenting again. Linebackers blitzing right here. Mays is going to rush the passer. Lions going to open up. He's going to come around. He sees the line, and he just throws it away. There's a 26, is Mays.
He's only 5'11", but he's carrying 226 pounds.
Almost had a illegal hit there with your helmet up in the other quarterback's head.
Blitz is coming.
They need to change the snap count, Keith. Those linebackers for Michigan have it down pretty good. They're blitzing at the right time each time.
Sword and Rennis. Rennis the pressure man, Sword the blitzer. Joaquin Fazell taking up half of the valley himself at 275 pounds. So the Michigan defense right now, in fact, the 2 defenses are dominating. They've taken all the starch out of the offenses right for the time being. Third and 26. From the 28. And this is Troutman. And Troutman is tripped up by Clint Copenhaver. And it's 4th down for Colorado. The punter is Nick Peach. The receiver, waiting at least, is Charles Woodson. Good kick. Runs Woodson back to the 22, and he's taken down at the 20 on a terrific open field tackle by Ben Kelly. Cornerback for Colorado. 43-yard punt, loss of a yard on the return. Next Saturday, these are the games that we have for you. Bob Greasy and I are going with Lynn Swan in our canoes to Seattle. We're going to do Nebraska, Washington, and I'll tell you what, folks, that will be a rumble.
Did you say canoes?
Yes.
I ain't getting in no canoe, Hoss.
Check your local listing for the game on your ABC station. That's a very big ball game up in Seattle next week. On 1st down, Greasy rolls out, throws under. Truman the tight end. 1st down, Michigan at the 44-yard line. Gain of 24 yards on the play.
Mike DeBoard, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays, went back to the play that was successful for him that set up the touchdown. You fake the run, you roll out, Truman coming from across the field. This is the same play he caught earlier in the game. You're going across the grain, the fake was the other way. Now he's a tight end. He says, I'm a tight end, I'm running over guys.
Mike DeBoard having moved over as offensive coordinator, having been the offensive line coach. This is Clarence Williams. He came out of the slot, runs a reverse, and picks up right at 10 yards. Damon Wheeler finally got him. That was a play that could have gone all the way. Colorado saying, wait a minute, the ball's out. How come we can't have a piece of it? And they say he was down. They'll have a look with a change to see where they are.
Let's check out the blocking on this here. Clarence Williams lost some weight. 14 going down there and kind of getting a piece of somebody.
But that other Greasy that we knew wearing the black and gold, I don't know that he had too many like that. He didn't stick his hat.
He didn't learn that from me, if that's what you're asking.
4 minutes and 9 seconds to play. Ball is out on the 46-yard line, and it's second down and a foot. Into the ball game now for Michigan is Mark Campbell, number 88, tight end. That'll give him a double tight end alignment. They send Shaw and Streets wide. Floyd is the single back. He gets it, and he gets the first down and then some. Comes all the way down to the 35-yard line. Gets a hand from the crowd. First down. Big block from Jeremy Tooman, number 80, the tight end.
Well, that's just straight blocking up front by that offensive line. Hutchinson, Frazier, Zeman, Tooman, number 80, who just caught that big pass to get him down in this field position. Does a nice job. Stays with his man. That's Sutter, number 36, the free safety. The big question mark for Michigan coming in. 4 new starters on that offensive line.
Anthony Thomas is back in, the freshman. And Greasy's pass. He puts air under it. Whitson's there and out of bounds. Incomplete forward pass. Charles Woodson had snuck into the game, and he had whipped Marcus Washington. He was out of bounds when he caught the ball, and there's a penalty flag against Michigan back at the line of scrimmage. All of that excitement is wiped out.
I think that is the first time that Charles Woodson was in on offense. If that ball would have been thrown further to the inside, of course, they've been wiped out by the penalty anyway.
Yep.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty.
Well, they snuck him in. No, I didn't see him come in. I mean, he goes in. As long as you get inside the numbers, you're legal. And that's as far as he went. And then all of a sudden, boom, there he was wide open.
Washington has no deep help. He just let Woodson run by him.
Right on the line when he caught it. Right on the boundary.
I think, Keith, if he would have been working as a receiver more and not so much defensive back, he could have worked his feet in bounds, but wouldn't have counted in.
3 wideouts to the bottom. Greasy looking the other way and goes the other way for Floyd. And Floyd into his own man. He ran into Big Steve Hutchinson, and they Steve, we're going that way. And they straightened it out for about 5 yards.
Hutchinson missed a couple weeks practice with a concussion. He came over from defense, as did the other guard, Chris Zeman. So they've got 2 guards that are huge, both moved over from defense. DeBoard really likes this offensive line. He thinks in time they are really going to be good.
Now they break up the I and leave Williams deep. Now he's out of the backfield. There ain't nobody back there, Brian. You got to throw it. He goes inside the streets. You got a penalty flag against Michigan. The play wasn't going anywhere anyhow. Colorado sniffed that out pretty well, and the linesman threw the flag just as the play broke. 2 minutes, 38 seconds to play in the first half. The first quarter was antiseptic. The second quarter's been a mess. We'll have the Valvoline halftime 97 with John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. A little bit here. 2 minutes and 38 seconds on the game clock.
We're talking with Rick Neuheisel too. I think they got a piece with Rick.
Yeah. I looked at some of the interview stuff last night, as a matter of fact, before I nodded off. It's interesting. It's good.
Rick's a pretty interesting guy. He wants to have fun. He wants to put fun back in college. He takes these guys tubing, he takes them skiing, and plays the guitar.
3rd and 17 for Michigan now. The ball is thrown to Williams. Williams is belted. They're going to call him down. They're going to call him down. I don't know why, but they are at the 39-yard line. Colorado doesn't know why either. Ryan Sutter came up and laid a lick on him. He hit him with a plank. And the ball came popping out.
Tight end is going to come across, and right here in the center of your screen is Sutter. He sees this the whole way. Watch him close on this.
I don't know, maybe he was down.
Yeah.
So now they have come to a 4th down, and Brian's out there, right? So the pooch punter's on the field. No, you got to back it up. 9-iron. So it bounds into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20, 1:35 to play, and here's John.
Well, Keith, coming up on Valvoline Halftime 97, Todd and I will have the scores and the highlights. Plus, you just heard Keith and Bob talking about Rick Neuheisel, a different guy.
Yeah, he's a real fun-loving guy, but I don't think he or his quarterback's having a lot of fun right now.
Right now, they are down. That's all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 97. Right now, let's take it back to Keith.
Buffaloes get the ball at the 20. Michigan defense's confidence has obviously grown and grown and grown because they have been a dominant factor in this first half. They lead 7-0. Colorado defense is getting better all the while, too. Here's Hessler back, hands the ball away, and there's a loss on the play as Marlon Barnes carrying, and Glenn Steele is not having any of it. The big guy from Ligonier, Indiana, took him down for a loss on the play, back to the 15-yard line.
This Michigan defense, Keith, take a look at the defensive line and the offensive line play. Steele is 81. He beats his man and makes the play. But this Michigan defense was pretty good coming back. They had 6 starters returning from a team that was 8th best in the nation last year in preventing people scoring points. So Michigan defense has always been good, Keith.
They tackle well.
Fundamentally, all the way back to Schembeckler, that was one of the things you know about Michigan defensively, the tackle.
This is Troutman looking for some help, turns the corner and runs well across the 25 to the 26. So it'll be 3rd down and 4 from the 26, and timeout called here by Michigan. Colorado has no timeouts remaining.
Well, Michigan wants to try and stop him on this 3rd down and force him to punt. Give Woodson a chance to run it back.
Hey, Jack! Hey, Jack! I want to say it, Don.
All right, here comes into the ball game Eric Mays, number 26, returning. He's been a primary tormentor for them. Whitley, the freshman, number 5, James Whitley from Norfolk. He comes out, and Andre Weathers, another blitzer, goes in. So they're putting in their assassins here, trying to make them punt.
Michigan has used about 18 or 19 defensive players, Keith. They have done a nice job of nickel and dime. I mean, that 5 and 6 defensive backs, sometimes 7. Sometimes they just use 3 linebackers. It's a standard set, base set. So doing a nice job, and they're mixing up their coverages and blitzes.
In talking to Jim Herman yesterday, though, I mean, the room was just vibrating. He was so excited to get, and so eager to send his warriors out.
His daddy was a CPA, his sister and his brother-in-law are CPAs. Everybody expected him to be a CPA. He said, no, no, no. He says, I'm going in for something exciting. And what he told us yesterday was very interesting, Keith. He said he thought that not having played a game is an advantage for his defense and a disadvantage for Colorado's offense, because you've got to see what they're doing, that he didn't give up any of his secrets defensively.
Now he changed his mind a bit. He puts Whitley back in, so he's got a burner in there to cover the pass. The pressure flushes Hessler out of there, and they take him down at the 30, but he may have a first down depending on the spot. Now the linesman come from this side. He's marked it short of the 30-yard line. They call time, Michigan does, with 23 seconds remaining on the clock, and so it will be 4th down and a yard.
There's that front. 4 guys rushing. Michigan putting on pressure with 4. Steele just misses him. And that's Hall that keeps after him and finally catches him.
I'll tell you what. Does Michigan have a timeout left?
That's all their timeouts. So
yeah, okay.
What they're going to get is a punt if they can do something with the punt.
I'd just go for the first down. You only got a half a yard, so why give Woodson a chance for the ball?
That's a good point, too.
Here's Swanee.
Well, Keith, you know, I'm very surprised. Colorado has 1 game under their belt, and they played Colorado State very well. But I'm looking at their wide receivers especially, and they look like they're dragging. They look like they're tired. They've been walking on and off the field. The entire bench area for Colorado looks like it's a team that's lost a game, not a team that's only trailing by a touchdown. That's not a good sign for the second half, Keith.
Well, Len, you know, last week against Colorado State, they were behind at halftime. And it wasn't Neuheisel so much that fired him up. It was Savoy who came in and started throwing chairs in the locker room. And Melvin Thomas, the big All-American tackle, that started speaking to him. So they're going to need some of that here today.
Well, if Phil Savoy's going to start throwing chairs, he needs a personality change right now, Bob. All right.
Talk to him, Lenny.
Nick Beach is in the punt. Yeah, I guess, well, they're going to kick it.
Got a piece of it.
Got to touch the ball. As long as you touch the ball, you can knock the kicker down, and the ball is fielded by Charles Woodson and run out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. So Ian Gold goes in there and gets a piece of it.
As long as you get a piece of it, you can touch the kicker. Or the kicker can touch you, I guess.
So Michigan will get it with 15 seconds. The ball is just across midfield.
Let's see if Michigan's got a Hail Mary.
Too early. Down on the 20-yard line, 6 seconds.
The clock stops. The clock stops on the first down.
Now they've got to get down there. They don't have a timeout remaining.
They just have to down the ball and then get their field goal team in. They can do that.
All he's got to do is snap it, spike it. There you go.
See, that's a big advantage. A big advantage in college. And Charles Woodson, everybody laying off, think he's going deep. This is a nice call. Send 2 guys of the 3 on that side deep and bring the 1 guy in across. Your big play guy.
And so Craig Baker will get a field goal try. From somewhere around the 27-yard line, so it looks like it'll be about a 37-yarder. The clock did not move. Did he not ask for some time to be run off?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Rob Sweat, who is a linebacker. Rob comes in as one of the blockers for the field goal unit. He's up at the top of the picture, number 95, and if there's going to be pressure, that's probably where it would come from. 37 yards. There comes the pressure. The kick is in the air, and it is good. And so very good use of the clock without a timeout in the closing seconds of the first half, and Michigan goes to the clubhouse leading Colorado by a score of 10-0. So 106,474 are happy about it. And we'll go to John Saunders and Todd Blackburn.
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. Todd joins me coming up on Valvoline Halftime 97. We'll take a look at scores and highlights, plus Rick Neuheisel. It's all coming up as ABC's coverage of college football continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Most low-price computer ads include legal type, like this, to let you know about all the wonderful things you won't be getting with your computer. Now this system includes everything you need to get started. Printer, monitor, and software. It's only $14.99 plus shipping and tax. And best of all, it's from Gateway. Gateway computers feature Intel Pentium processors. Call us at 1-800-GATEWAY and we'll build one for you.
Go where you wanna go. Leave the boundaries far behind you.
Introducing the all-new Goodyear Eagle F1 with racing-inspired dual aqua channels that sweep water away for serious traction in the wet, especially in braking. The new ultra-high-performance Goodyear Eagle F1.
Serious freedom. Goodyear, Goodyear.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
Oh, if only I could swim. I would swim over there. And I would go up and I would say, hello, I'm Louie. How are you? Nice to meet you. And then I would grab the heads and I would hold them under the water like this, like this. Yeah.
Louie, you are one sick lizard.
I needed a little tune-up before heading to camp, so I decided to look up some of the fastest guys in the game, thinking we could run some drills.
Gee, Mr. Naaman, I'm sure my dad would love to come over and play.
But it would just be two-hand touch, right?
Wow, you're still alive?
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any of their numbers. So I put on my new low-to-the-ground Zoom Air shoes and went out back with some of the neighborhood kids. Still got a few bullets left in the old gun.
You're watching ABC.
You gotta think forward first, 'cause you want the best and nothing less.
Now during the 97 factory authorized clearance, buy or lease a Ford Ranger and get a free bed liner. Lease Ranger XLT for only $170 per month for 24 months. Ranger is fun to drive and comes standard with air conditioning, driver airbag, aluminum wheels, and more. At $170 a month and a free bed liner, they won't last long.
Your 31 Metro Detroit Ford dealers, pick Ford first.
James Belushi follows Traces of Red late night tonight.
Valvoline Halftime 97, brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. From our New York studios, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
Welcome inside, everyone. College football here. John Saunders, Todd Blackledge. Defensive struggle. Michigan's defense looks excellent.
Yeah, they really do. And Keith Jackson said it right. They are tormenting John Hessler. They can't let him do anything in that first half.
10-0 with the second half still to come. Now, Penn State playing Temple today. Reason for concern? Well, I don't think so. It's a 7-7 game. Temple now on the 17-yard line. Penn State has won 21 straight against Temple. The last time Temple won in Happy Valley, 1941. So I don't think anyone's reason for concern there. We'll keep you up to date. Central Florida playing Nebraska. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when Nebraska played Akron. A money game again.
Yeah, it really is. Central Florida, tough roadway to start off. First 3 games on the road, but they've got a talented quarterback in Dante Culpepper. Could keep it interesting for a while.
They get about $500,000 for getting beaten up. Bowling Green down to Ohio State by 3. It's early in that one. Now some highlights out of the SEC. Ole Miss against Auburn. Auburn fired up and ready to go. And Stuart Partridge, the quarterback at Ole Miss, he's sacked by Jeff Dunlap and Leonardo Carson. A 3-0 game there. Auburn's won 10 straight home opening victories, and right now they are up in this one. No, it's now a 3-3 game. Ole Miss getting a field goal in this one as well. Clemson against NC State. NC State, the surprise team in college football thus far this year. And Tremaine Stevens, the little 5-yard run here, punches this one across. NC State, nobody talked about them. They're now in the top 25.
And it's amazing what a couple wins will do for your confidence. This team playing better than their talent is right now.
Memphis against Michigan State. Michigan State's gotten off to a pretty quick start. They pasted Western Michigan a couple of weeks ago. Right now it's a 28-0 game. Todd Schultz now with 3 touchdown passes.
As long as he stays healthy, Michigan State could be the real surprise team in the Big Ten. That's a good football team Nick Saban has.
West Virginia has started 2-0, but both of their victories were not easy. Matt Hasselbeck here at Boston College, picked off by Bob Baum, and he runs this one deep, and it sets up Mark Bolger 6 yards to Sean Foreman. And West Virginia, again, on a little timing pass, tosses it to the corner of the end zone. West Virginia, they had a tough one against Marshall, and then against East Carolina this week, BC.
Yeah, we said the same thing against North Carolina State. Same thing for West Virginia applies. You win a couple games early, you play with great confidence. Just the opposite for Boston College.
They have lost 8 straight to West Virginia. A few other scores, Missouri and Kansas. Matt Jono with a touchdown run right now as Kansas has a 9-7 lead. Army 16-1 against Lafayette, struggling in this one today, a 7-7 tie. And Central Michigan up against Boise State, 7-3 is that score. We will continue with more coverage of Valvoline Halftime 97. When we come back, we'll take a look at one of the new breed of coaches in college football, Rick Neuheisel of Colorado.
All right. When I got into the college football arena, I realized that, first of all, you better understand it isn't so much coaching as it is recruiting. You better be able to get the players.
Charles Woodson having another terrific first half. Part of the reason the Wolverines are up 10-0 over Colorado.
Some of the most admired cars you'll see are owned by the guys who know cars best. They're ASC certified master mechanics, and the #1 brand of motor oil these guys use in their own cars and trucks is Valvoline, makers of Durablend, the leading semi-synthetic for a cleaner engine due to better control of harmful deposits. So use the oil the mechanics who take care of your car use to take care of theirs. Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
This is the Triton-powered Ford F-150. And this is a 102,000-pound earth mover. Now that's what we call taking the bulldozer by the horns. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Big Ten Conference, celebrating 100 years of athletic and academic excellence.
Welcome back to Valvoline Halftime 97. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. One of the great things about college sports is the coaches that are the stars. In college basketball especially, you think they're stars with personality. It's taken a little bit longer in college football to get it like that, but Rick Neuheisel might change everything.
Yeah, well, make no mistake now, Bill McCartney built the program at Colorado, but Rick Neuheisel is doing a nice job maintaining it, and he's doing it by recruiting great talent, and he's doing it in a very unique way.
When I got into the college football arena, I realized that, you know, first of all, you better understand it isn't so much coaching as it is recruiting. You better be able to get the players.
It is an endless cycle. Coaches need new players each year. Annually, the cream of the high school crop must wade through an avalanche of letters, phone calls, and visits by coaches desperate to sign top talent.
Once it got started, it was, man, it was wild.
They'll tell you anything and everything you want to hear.
Letters every day, anywhere from 10 to 20. As soon as they can start calling, they call a lot. Every night, tons of them.
You're literally signing away the next 4 years of your life.
Top high school players are savvy and critical. Rick Neuheisel believes he has an innate advantage. The very qualities which make him an oddity also make him a rising star in the recruiting game.
I understand what butters the bread. I mean, we're all salesmen when it comes to recruiting. I'm not saying that we're not. I think every coach has to be true to himself. It might not work for Joe Paterno to take his team skiing. This is just something that works for me.
Neuheisel takes advantage of photo opportunities, and the more offbeat the environment, the better. When recruits come to town, they get the full taste of Camp Rick.
When I came here on my recruiting trip, they took us snow skiing. The first week of two-a-days, we went tubing down a river. One time they cut practice short and we went out to the lake and jet skied and water skied and had a picnic.
Fun isn't everything. A good recruiter is a good psychologist, and parents are prime targets in the emotional battle to sign a player. Neuheisel's prowess in winning over players' families is another prong in his attack.
Coach Neuheisel and my mom got along real nice. I mean, they talk on the phone, they giggle, and it made me feel good.
Coach Neuheisel, I mean, young, blonde. So, I mean, the females in my family kind of wanted me to go to Colorado, and, you know, I did.
While legendary coaches from the past might call him frivolous, Neuheisel believes he'll continue to be effective as a recruiter because kids today are looking for a different kind of leadership.
I think there's been an evolution of football. In years past, with the icons in our game, there was a real military feel to football. The 90s kid doesn't relate with that. Ultimately, what the 90s kid wants is communication. He wants to know why.
Several young coaches took over college programs in the 90s, but youth doesn't necessarily mean following in the Rick Neuheisel mold.
I think everybody's got to be true to themselves. I think if any of us felt pressure to go to the Indianapolis 500 and sit in an Indy car, you know, it's not me. I don't do those things. It is Rick.
I think ultimately, college sports isn't about coaching. We have to restock. You have to keep bringing in new guys. And that, to me, ultimately is what makes the game so fresh and makes it so exciting.
You know, I love what Rick brings to college football. So many head football coaches are of that same stoic, by-the-book mold. He's refreshing, but this story brings out two important points. Number one, this style doesn't work for everybody, coaches or players that are being recruited. And number two, the recruiting process doesn't just focus on the individual player. It involves the whole family. Sometimes it's a dad who's either played football or coaches high school football. In most cases, it's a mother. I remember when Joe Paterno recruited me, when he walked in our family room, took his shoes off and sat in recliner, he won over my mother. Now, my mom would never tell me where to go to school, John, but she would have been disappointed if I wouldn't have gone to Penn State.
Always listen to him. You mean we don't expect to see Joe Paterno playing the guitar anytime soon?
No, I don't think so.
Or in an Indy car, I don't think so either. It's a doubleheader day here on ABC, 3:30 Eastern Time, regional coverage. For more on that, let's join Brent Musburger.
John, Ross-Ade Stadium has witnessed some memorable Notre Dame-Purdue battles. Jim Coletto was the head coach of the Boilermakers last year. He couldn't beat Notre Dame, so he joined them. Coletto now takes over as new coach Bob Davies, offensive coordinator. Quarterback Ron Paulus is Coletto's major project. The question to be answered, is Paulus the real deal or a product of overhype? We shall see. Let's go to Brad Nessler in Austin, Texas.
The big question in Longhorn country right now is about James Brown, the starting quarterback. Can he play against 0-2 UCLA today? Well, if you talk to James, he says he thinks he can make a go of it. But if you look at his ankle, it was injured in the opener against Rutgers on this sack late in the first half. He's been in an air cast for a good portion of this week. Very limited duty in both Thursday and Friday practices. And if he can't go, it means Richard Walton, his backup, will get the start today for Texas. Last time he started was a couple of years ago against Baylor and helped the Longhorns to a conference crown. Let's head over to the ACC now. Tim Brandt. Tim.
Expectations are always high here at Florida State. Why not? The Seminoles have won at least 10 games every year over the past decade. But the so-called experts now say that streak is in jeopardy because the roster is laced with freshmen and sophomores. But when the Seminoles come out of this tunnel this afternoon and take on the University of Maryland, they'll be led by the defense. A defensive unit that held Southern California to just 25 yards rushing last week. Led by big, strong Andre Wadsworth. And folks, he is fun to watch. A terror. And John, it is that defensive unit that will keep this team in the national title hunt.
Those games at 3:30 Eastern Time. Follow all of ABC's regional football coverage online live to see real-time play-by-play action from across the country. All on America Online. Keyword ABC Sports. Stick around, there's still more to come. You saw Charles Woodson on defense with a pick. Here he is on offense with a catch. It's 10-0 Michigan.
Some of the most admired cars are owned by the guys who know cars best. ASE certified master mechanics. And the #1 brand of motor oil top mechanics use is Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Experts say that Social Security and pensions may provide only 45% of your retirement income. And that could let some air out of your retirement plans. Fortunately, MetLife is there. With advice and information about annuities, mutual funds, and other retirement options. We'll help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays. For more information, call 1-800-MET-LIFE.
Presenting the Valvoline Big Play Rebate and Sweepstakes. Save $4 on a case of Valvoline motor oil, and you could win one of 6 Mark Martin signature Ford Thunderbirds. Here comes Mark now. He's up and right on the money. Valvoline, the #1 choice of top mechanics.
Valvoline Halftime 97, brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline.
Richard Lewis and Kevin Nealon, two comics taking parenting seriously.
Allie, how was karate? You kill anyone?
No. Killer and Diller, 1 week from Tuesday on ABC.
Welcome back, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. Penn State in a bit of a scare early against Temple. Let's update this one as Joe Paterno has gone into his bag of tricks. Little reverse here. Chafee Fields takes it 44 yards.
Well, you have to respect Curtis Enos when he has the football. That brings the defense one way. Chafee Fields, another speed guy on the outside, takes it 44 yards for the touchdown.
Temple had led this game 7-0. Penn State now with a couple of touchdowns. 14-7 is the score there. Bowling Green and Ohio State. If this was a hockey game, it might be a good one. Ohio State, though, is rolling 10-3 right now as Michael Wiley has a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, part of that 10-0 lead. It's time now to introduce the Burger King Scholar Athlete of the Week Award. During the 97 season, the Burger King Corporation and its National Franchise Association will donate $1 million to the general scholarship funds of recipient colleges and universities. This week's featured scholar athlete is Ryan Olson of Colorado. Olson, a defensive tackle, is a leader on the field and in the classroom. A civil engineering major, he has a 3.53 GPA.
When I first came to Colorado, I set my priorities, and I knew that, you know, even if I was going to make it in football and play in the NFL, that it would only last a few years, you know, at most. So I knew that getting an education was the most important thing about being here.
Congratulations. Meanwhile, we have a 10-0 game right now. The Michigan Wolverines defense shutting out Colorado. Right now, 10-0.
When the unexpected happens, the all-new Dodge Dakota swings into action. Standard dual airbags help guard you from the front. High-strength steel door beams help shield you from the side, while the new front seats are designed to help protect you from the rear. When it came to building a safer truck, we considered all the angles. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
National Car Rental presents the Drive for the National Championship. The year 1972. For the UCLA Bruins, a Rose Bowl bid on the line. But for the USC Trojans, not only the Rose Bowl, but a possible national championship hung in the balance. Led by quarterback Mike Ray and wide receiver Lynn Swann, the men of Troy scored a dominating 24-7 victory. Southern Cal would go on to defeat Ohio State in the Rose Bowl to cap a perfect 12-0 record and claim their 6th national championship.
Let's go! As a business traveler, you can choose from thousands of places to stay. But when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National Car Rental. Because when you join National's Emerald Club, you can bypass the counter, choose your own car, and get on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
Philly's tired of Dallas taking all the glory. Could Monday night be the Philadelphia story? Let's do this. Bring on the game now.
One night.
ABC Thursday.
2 new shows.
Critics call the best.
Rolling Stone says Nothing Sacred is the best new show this fall.
Cosmopolitan calls Cracker the best new drama of the season.
What more can we say?
The best new shows back to back.
Nothing Sacred and Cracker.
Premiering Thursday on ABC.
To take advantage of the great deals at the Dodge Big Summer Clearance, you're going to have to act fast. Because with combined package values and discounts of up to $1,350, our supply of Dodge Dakotas will rapidly run out. With package values of up to $1,185 on the mighty Dodge Ram, time isn't the only thing that's going to fly. Get to the Dodge Big Summer Clearance soon, because the clock is running. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Room service? In play. Yeah. Hang on a second, Frank. Yeah, give me that Stroh's right there. Yeah. No.
Shall I open the Stroh's, sir?
Yes. No.
Shall I pour the Stroh's, sir?
No, absolutely.
For more taste and more character.
Shall I drink the Stroh's for you, sir?
Go for it. You hear me?
There's only fire brewed Stroh's.
Sir, if there's nothing else.
Yeah. So anyway, Frank.
Unscrew a fire brew.
Frank, I'll call you back.
Mom and Dad used to take us to McDonald's every Saturday.
We couldn't wait. So, hey, we figured it was time we treated them.
And you couldn't pick a better time. Because right now at McDonald's, a juicy hamburger is just 49 cents. A cheeseburger is 59 cents. And a morning fresh sausage biscuit is 69 cents. But time's limited. So hurry to the original. McDonald's.
And forget about the cost. Mom and Dad, we've got it covered.
3 hot specials at McDonald's. This is the real deal.
An inside look at the Wings training camp, late night Sunday.
We're at halftime, 10-0, Michigan leading Colorado at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. And the man who stepped up, as we warned you he might very well, is Charles Woodson.
Well, he's a key player, either offense or on defense. Here, defensively, he makes the first interception of the year. That led to a score. Here he pressures the quarterback. Now he's on offense as a wide receiver just before the half. This reception sets up the final field goal.
And so that's where we are at halftime in a 10-0 ball game. And if Colorado had been able to wedge out a first down and not kick the ball, not give Woodson a chance to return it, and then make that reception, they would have avoided that 3 points. But Michigan used it very well and will have the ball to start the second half of play. Jason Leslie will kick off for the Buffaloes. And for Michigan, it's Clarence Williams in the middle of the field. And Clarence, 2 yards deep in the end zone, is coming. Got a wedge in the middle of the field. He's got one man to beat. There's a penalty flag way back up the field. So jump up and down all you want, but that baby's coming back. Ben Kelly ran him down, holding Michigan. That flag was thrown up around the 25-yard line. It's laying on the ground right now back at the 21. So that'll negate a 62-yard kickoff return. And Lloyd Carr is not happy.
Holding on a receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Keith, let's take a look at that replay from the end zone. It might be right here. Watches that matchup. He's locked up with him. Looks like he may just pull him down. I can't tell for sure. That might have been it. But critical mistake coming out for Michigan.
So instead of having the ball on the Colorado side of the field, they lose that 62-yard kick return, and they will start first down at their own 11-yard line. Chris Floyd is the single back and has the ball. And he runs head-on into Mike Phillips, the middle linebacker, and Big Mike takes him down after a yard. Now the Dean Witter halftime stats.
Average per play, Colorado not doing much with it, but down at the bottom, turnovers, Colorado has had 2, and it has led, one of those turnovers led to 7 points for Michigan. Michigan with 217 yards. What is not there is the passing yards for Colorado, only 65 yards for John Hester and company.
Call it second down and 8. Greasy keeps it after a play action and lets it go. He's got 2 men. First down, Michigan.
Same play. Colorado has not stopped.
33-yard line.
It's the same play, Keith, that they've run a couple of other times. Roughing the passer on top of it. Here's a look at Tooman. Same thing. He's going to go across. Brian Greasy fakes the play. This was good calling by Mike DeBoard. He's not running it too often. He's sharing it up, running some plays in between, but he hasn't forgotten it. He keeps going back to it.
Called a roughing the passer, too, didn't he?
Yep.
So Jeremy Tooman's having a big day, and the penalty against Colorado now will move the football all the way out to the 48-yard line on the roughing call. And Tooman with 4 catches for 105 yards. So Michigan now trying to strike while it's hot. But it's caught by Russell Shaw. And Shaw from Los Angeles will move the chains for Michigan down to about the 37. Here's Swanee.
And Keith, on that opening kickoff, that penalty was just what Lloyd Carr was talking to me about at halftime. He said, we are making the first game mistakes, and they are killing us. He said, we've got to correct those, but most importantly, he said, it will not stop him from being aggressive, both defensively and more aggressive offensively in the second half, Keith.
Well, you can be more aggressive if you're outside of your own 10-yard line, for sure.
Go to the ground game, and there's nothing there for Anthony Thomas. Thomas is just absolutely stopped cold. Mike Phillips is in there as one of the primaries on it. Nick Ziegler. Now Phillips leaves, fighting toward the sidelines, wringing his hand, but now I guess the feeling must be coming back, and he says, I'll stay.
Must just be a burner, and that is hit your crazy bone or something like that, Keith.
So it's 2nd down and 13 after that loss by Thomas. And Greasy back quickly, throws behind Ty Streets a bit there. And while Ty made a leaping acrobatic catch, and it may have saved him a little physical abuse.
Well, that throw was high, no question about it. And Streets made up for the one he missed before, although he tipped it up in the air, was intercepted. This was a heck of a catch. Bad throw, good catch. You don't want to hang your wide receivers out like that.
$14 out of 17 for 190. You know what? You're going to buy dinner.
I'm buying anyway.
3rd down and 5. Quick thing again. He works. Go to Ty Streets. That's what they had a while ago, except the pass was poorly thrown, and Ty had to go high to get it. This time the ball was on the numbers, and he was able to move it on down the field.
It's just going to be a slant, about 2 steps and in. It's a good throw by Greasy and a nice play by Streets. Michigan offensively, Keith, I just go say, opening up more after they got out of the shadow of their own goalpost. Mike DeBoer really allowing the throw now on 1st and 2nd down.
Marcus Washington is the man hurt on the play. He's a cornerback, starting cornerback for Colorado, and he's down on the field. I thought Florida State wore out the slant pattern last week.
You know, all night. It looks like Marcus is going to be all right going off the field. But, you know, I love that, Keith, that slant pass. That's the first thing that you go to on quick passing, 3-step drops, and if you can get yourself inside, you've got a chance to catch it quickly and break a tackle.
Corey Davis is in replacing Washington. This is that freshman Thomas, Anthony Thomas from Winfield, Louisiana. And he cuts it in there for a good solid 3 yards. 10-0 Michigan, and the Wolverines are now knocking on the door.
First drive, Keith, of the 3rd quarter is so important because you come out at halftime. Rick Neuheisel had a chance to fire his guys up and say, hey, we came from behind last week. We proved we can do it. Let's go out and play better. Lloyd Carr on the other side says, we got them down 10. Don't let up. Don't slow up. Let's go out. First drive, go down and put something on the board.
2nd down and 6. Ryan Gracie 4 for 4 in this possession. Ball thrown outside to Chris Howard. Howard out of the backfield. Comes down close to the marker, but looks like he's about a yard short before Ben Kelly shoves him out. Kelly not very big, but he's feisty, 5'10", 175.
Brian did a nice job there. He looked downfield for the tight end. He was covered with 2 people. The back was open. He came off to the back.
Chris Howard got his first down by half a yard.
Protection has been good for Michigan, Keith. The main concern for the Wolverines going in, talking to the coaching staff, was the offensive line. Not that they weren't good enough, just that they hadn't played. They were inexperienced.
It's 1st and goal from the 6. Floyd. That's a yard. That'll do it. They're all there. Phillips, 91. Terrell Cade, 48.
Mau, 77. Those
Iliami.
big tackles inside.
Clock rolling along. Michigan in control of the ball game. Their defense has been the single most dominant thing on the field today, but the offense is working pretty well for a first game. Clarence Williams, the deep back. Greasy looking around. Now he throws into the cheap seat. Incomplete.
It's tough to do for a quarterback, Heath, and that is give up on the play. I mean, you work on plays inside the 10, 15-yard line. You want to hit this play. You try it in practice, and it works in practice. You have confidence it's going to work. Now he looks back, and right now he sees it ain't going to work. Now I'm looking over here. Just give it up. Come back for another play.
Williams coming out. Howard is back in. But Floyd is deep. That puts Howard up there in the slot, makes him a receiver. And he's got it. And he's got a touchdown. point. Good. At 10:26 to go in the third quarter, Michigan marches out to a 17-0 lead, going 89 yards in 11 plays.
If you're looking for building materials, you got to come to the Home Depot.
We sell 2x4s, we sell plywood, we sell doors, windows.
Roofing materials.
You're going to see insulation as well. You're going to see
rebar. We've got everything having to do with cement.
Our lumber department is inside, and you're not going to get all warped wood.
I could go on and on and on and on about what we've got down there.
I've got customers that have built their homes out of Home Depot.
It's incredible. You can build your house cheaper than you ever thought you could.
You're going to see ladders. I'm not finished yet.
Our engineers gave it the largest interior in its class. They made room for the biggest engine available and specified the longest wheelbase. Then they added one more surprise, the taut, precise steering feel of a sports sedan. So when Sport Truck Magazine named the new Dodge Dakota Sport Truck of the Year, we were honored, but not surprised. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
Is that a new big King? No, it's a bag, Coach. No, in the bag, son. Yes, sir, it is.
Well, what's a smart kid like you doing sitting on the bench? Get in there and play quarterback.
Really?
Like taking candy from a baby.
The new Big King from Burger King, plain broiled with 75% more beef. It's like a Big Mac, except it's bigger and tastes better. And right now, you can get one for just 99 cents.
Coach said I could play halfback.
In a world of trespassers and things that go bump in the night, James Belushi and James Remar are taking your protection seriously. Stephen Bochco's Total Security in 2 weeks.
17-0. The numbers that really matter. Michigan leading. Colorado now got a belly up. Respond here. They're going to be in trouble. Bealey's kick to the corner. It is received by Marlon Barnes. And Barnes, searching for a little more daylight, will get out to about the 28-yard line. The scoring drive, as we told you, 11 plays, 89 yards, took 4.5 minutes. They threw the ball 7 times, ran it 4 times, and stuck it in the end zone.
Here's a look at the touchdown. It's the flanker, this flood guy right here. He's just going to run straight to the outside. He's going to look to the end zone to see if there's any receivers open. It's a zone. Everybody drops back. He comes off to the man, gets him the ball in good shape where he doesn't have to break stride. And that was a big score starting the third quarter.
Now Colorado is in trouble unless they can get something on the board here. That ball is thrown down the middle, and Hessler's lucky that is not picked off because Glenn Steele was all over him. James Hall was in his shirt pocket.
And I'm sure John Hessler is thinking, we ain't going to do this again. Same story, second half. He went in halftime. He got a lot of good information, Hessler did. So we're going to block him better. This is what they're doing. First play of the second half. 2 guys are in his face and knocking him down.
John struggling, as you can see. 8 of 21 to 65 yards.
That defense, Keith, is just
tough. It's tough.
Just is on him all over.
Timeout, Colorado. They've got the man behind him at quarterback is Adam Bledsoe, a redshirt freshman, the youngest brother of Drew Bledsoe, but he's not played.
Bob and Judith Akers looked forward to the day they could retire to a little business by the sea. No easy project to take on alone. Fortunately, a Dean Witter broker was there to help them chart the proper course.
Each individual's dream is unique. So, too, must be our solutions.
Now the Akers not only have a place they can call home, others can, too.
Be back at 10.
We'll leave the light on. At Dean Witter,
we measure success, one investor at a time.
Turn it up, love to pump, slam dunk. Inline or online, surf and net, Dr. Pepper, taste to get. Blue jean, fly machine, football hurdle, space shuttle, free to vote, yeah.
132 horsepower, 16-valve, overhead cam, 4-wheel independent suspension, cab forward, gnarly Dodge Neon Coupe. Dude, say hello to Dodge Neon at your friendly Dodge dealer.
Now the Buffaloes hope they have things sorted out at 2nd down and 10. Ball on their own 28. They trail 17-0. Hessler's pass intercepted by Copenhagen. Out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
It wasn't what Neuheisel had planned for the first series of the 3rd quarter.
Michigan ball, 14 of Colorado, 1st down. Greasy still got it. Cuts it inside. Down to the 10.
Good decision. Here you go. Here's Copenhagen right here. So many of the times he's been blitzing today. This time he's going to drop back. Hessler has been rushed and battered. This time he thinks he's not going to be there. He drops off and makes the interception.
So that's a pickup of 4, 2nd down and 6. Hell a day for John.
Oh, I know the feeling, Keith. There were a few days.
Chris Howard. River Ridge, Louisiana. Here's Lynn Swan.
Nigel said at halftime, he talked about John Hessler, and he paid respect to the Michigan defense, but he said John Hessler is trying to force the ball. That's why it's going into the ground. He's got to settle down. Carl Durrell told me before he went up to the press box that until Hessler settles down, they cannot open up the offense. And people describe this team as being lethargic, unenthusiastic, and tired in the first half, Keith.
3rd down now and goal. Here's Greasy looking, getting some pressure. His pass is away. It's a touchdown. Russell Shaw. Baker for the point. At 8 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, Michigan in total control right now, 24-0.
Well, again, the initial play is not working right here. Now it's messed up. Somebody's in there. Big play, Brian Greasy, keeping it alive, getting outside the pocket. Somebody's open. Okay, I'm going to give it to him. Shaw gets down, releases inside. He's supposed to go to the outside. Now he stops, finds an open area, stays there. That's just good adjustment by Shaw and Greasy.
So the Wolverines are sky high right now, and the big crowd of 106,474, which is the 7th largest. Wolverines cash in the turnover as Copenhagen stayed at home and intercepted. Heck, he could take Scott and Jeff with him, and you'll still buy.
Take all the brothers out to dinner.
2-yard line for Marlon Barnes. To the 25. America's biggest road show will roll along. Live regional action starting at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Notre Dame and Purdue UCLA, Texas, Maryland, Florida State. Check the local listing on your ABC station or games available from your cable operator. UCLA Bruins. They've been talking about Michigan's preseason schedule. I'll tell you what, Washington State's is pretty. Washington State, Tennessee, and Texas. Yeah. For UCLA.
Yep.
Kessler loses the football. Michigan's got it.
No, they don't. I think he had second. He had two fingers held up.
Did he? He was pointing the other way with the arm, though, and it's going to be Colorado keeping it.
He was pointing the other way. He couldn't lift his arm straight up. It was kind of pointing that way with two fingers.
So they keep it at the 21.
This is it, Kate. This is the pressure of the Michigan defense that has set the tone for this game and has harassed John Hessler. They're a blitz coming from Sword, 93. That shakes him up a little bit. And then Williams knocks it loose. Copenhagen almost got it.
Hessler puts some air under the ball, lofted to the sideline. Stigger's over there, covered by the other number 2, Charles Woodson, covered like a blanket, and the play does not work. So it's going to be 3rd down now and 14, and the Michigan defense is just destroying Colorado.
Well, you're exactly right, Keith. And you know, John Hessler is Neuheisel's quarterback. There is no question about it. But he is struggling. And it's not all on his shoulders. You know, it's not out of the question to put in the backup quarterback, Adam Bledsoe, and let him go in and be conservative with him just to get Hessler out of the game and settle him down and then put him back in. Next possession.
On 3rd and long, up the middle of the field, almost intercepted.
That is a rattled quarterback right there.
So the crowd roars. And Colorado will have to punt it away. Nick Peach in. And the beleaguered Buffalo offense goes to the sidelines. Woodson is waiting. That's a good kick by Peach. A lot of air under it. High hanger. Woodson calls fair catch back at the 39-yard line. And there Michigan will take over. 40-yard punt, no return.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Fortune 500 companies know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go, National Car Rental. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
You gotta have fire. Slapping, lapping, fancy flames, flicking chicken from every side until marinated bird and garlic and lime has turned from good into sublime. Oh, what has Chili's thus created? Why, it's margarita grilled chicken consummated, served horizontally, grill marks up on a tostada with a lot of what your mouth waters for. That rib sticking margarita grilled chicken, 'cause Chili's grills like no place else.
Hang 10 in the 132 horsepower, 16-valve, overhead cam, 4-wheel independent suspension, cab forward, gnarly Dodge Neon Coupe. Do say hello to Dodge Neon at your friendly Dodge dealer.
Promotional consideration provided by National Car Rental, the official car rental company of ABC Sports.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. By Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. By National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. One of the better seats for this football game, obviously inside the Bud 1 airship, aerial ambassador of the King of Beers, flying high over Michigan Stadium as the Wolverines go to the attack. And Anthony Thomas, that freshman, is in there again, being seasoned a little bit at a time. I was supposed to say the best seat in the house in the air Bud ship, but I'm sitting in the best seat in the house. Tom Goss has just been named the new athletic director at the University of Michigan. He played for Bump Elliott in 66, 7, and 8. And he's like the rest of us. He's a little rounder than he was then, but I'll tell you what, watching this game today as Thomas carries again and picks up a couple of yards, he's got a smile 9 yards wide. There is a time when he played here for Bump. And now he has come back to step into a chair where he will have control and run and organize and keep building a $38 million athletic budget, the biggest budget, I think, in the history of anywhere in sports in this country. Steve Frazier is shaken up a bit on the play and will come off the field. But let's welcome officially Tom Goss as the new AD at Michigan, and you got to like what you're seeing, Tom.
Keith, I love what I'm seeing. This 24-0 shutout so far is just what any AD would want on his first day on the job.
Well, 106,474 people ain't bad.
I can count that also.
You've given up a career. Didn't give it up. It was your choice to leave business. We'll continue in a moment. Not much here on this third. A little draw, a little delay. It gets about a yard. But you left private industry to come back to your alma mater. When Paul Bryant did that, he said, Mama called. What brought you back?
Well, Lee Bollinger, our president, called. And, and when he called and asked for me to come back and help with our Michigan program, when you're a loyal Michigan alumni like I am, you just have to listen and go do it.
Well, you haven't really been away from Michigan because you've been active all across the country for them ever since you played here. And here's the punt by Vincent. Good one. He's kicked well all day. And the return by Trotman will get him up to across the 28, about the 23-yard line. It's an enormous chore you have in front of you because there are a lot of problems in today's college athletics, but I haven't heard one single soul say they weren't anything but happy that you've come back home. So good luck.
Well, thank you, Keith. And I think we have the opportunity to keep our program on top and just drive it forward from this point on.
Very good, Tom. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Keith.
Look forward to spending a lot of time with you.
Okay.
With a voice like that, he should be in radio.
Maybe he'll when he gets tired of AD and he can have this. Here goes Hustler trying to make something happen. John gets up across the field, keeping the ball at the penalty flag. They hit him out of bounds. He'll tack on 15 yards personal foul, and that's a big play. Tommy Hendricks hit him out of bounds. So Hessler, totally frustrated, pulled it down and took off.
Exactly, and John is looking for a place to start. He needs something, and that scramble and the flag on top of it will be something to build on. That's Hendricks. He's a true sophomore getting an opportunity to play this year. That's just a little bit late on the hit. But Hessler is looking to ignite something. There is no question that Colorado can put 24 points on the board.
So the ball is at the 44-yard line. Buffaloes have not surrendered. No. 5:40 to go in the third quarter. Throws that hard down the middle, complete to Anderson. Chris Anderson will have 9 yards on the play inside the 35. So if the Michigan defenders relax too much, they'll hear the old scoreboard clanking.
Well, the thing defensively that Jim Herman has to decide is, do I continue playing the way I played the first 2 quarters and a half of the third quarter? Aggressively, blitzing some, mixing it up. Or with a 24-point lead, do I sit back and just play it safe? Don't put my corners out there one-on-one where I may give up a big play.
change in. He's close to a first down, but he's at least a football short of it.
Here's a look at the quarterbacks. Hessler having the tougher part of it till now because of that Michigan defense, and Brian Greasy 18 of 22 and the 2 touchdown passes.
Half a yard short on second down. Got him open and missed it. He had Cheverini over there by himself. There's another penalty flag thrown back where Hessler was knocked down. It could be a hold, or it can be a personal foul, or it could be roughing the passer.
Might be all of those.
Might be all of those. Summed up in late hit. We were talking to Tom Goss a while ago. He was the first fellow from Tennessee.
On the defense.
Roughing the passer.
First down.
Tom was the first from Tennessee to come to Michigan and play football. And of course, Lloyd Carr was born in Tennessee, came to Michigan when he was about 10 years old. Well, there's a young fellow named Eric Bracken, who is a freshman fullback here at Michigan, also from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is not very far from Knoxville. It's on the way up toward the Smoky Mountains. I think that's where Dolly Parton came from. Pigeon Forge.
I don't know, Paul.
Dollywood is just around the corner.
I can't help you there.
Penalty flag as they set up for this play, and that stops play. And the official stops and says something to Phil Savoy on his way. The linesman threw it. Now he's talking to Jack Teets.
Dead ball. False start on the offense.
So somebody was moving.
Here's a look at the Buffalo's possessions today. They had 8 of them in the first half, 6 punts and 2 interceptions. The bottom 2 are the 2 possessions of the second half. They had an interception and a punt. Not much done today.
On this possession, you had the run by John Hessler. Then you've had in this possession 2 personal foul calls against Michigan. So that's 30 yards right there. Buffaloes are working now at the 25-yard line on first down and 15. Going down the middle, incomplete. There's a penalty flag. The deep man saw it. The deep man saw it. He threw the flag from back around the goal line because the umpire was very close to it and did not see it. And one of the Michigan players came in and spun the would-be receiver around. But they're going to say the ball was
pass was tipped
at the line of
scrimmage.
scrimmage.
No pass interference.
And there is no pass interference. I didn't see the tip, but I did see the man spun around.
Good call by the officials. They got together, and if the ball is tipped.
You got a Michigan man shaking us on
Jones.
the play.
He is the one that that defended on the play.
Yanni Jones. Sophomore linebacker from Potomac, Maryland. So Mays comes back, number 26 at that spot. Second down and 15 from the 25.
Colorado could get one in here, Keith. It would do a lot towards getting some momentum going in their favor.
Savoy is in motion. Trouble. They are relentless. James Hall, the first man. Fizel followed. Then Mays came along.
Take a look at the top of your screen. Number 90 is Fizel Jenkins. Hall is 56. Look at Jenkins just get right around him. There's somebody in the pocket right now. He tries to exit the pocket, and Hall, 56, was there. You need some protection. It's not all Hessler's fault.
The loss is all the way back to the 41-yard line, where it is third down and 31. 4.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Hessler's pass is completed to the 35-yard line to Savoy. That's far short of where they needed to go. It'll be 4th down. We have a punter coming, field goal. We have a field goal kicker coming. Jason Leslie, who's been doing the kicking off.
This will be what, 52?
52 yards. 3:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. Trying to get some points on the board. Leslie's a barefoot kicker. He's got a lot of leg on it, and he made it. 52 yards for Jason Leslie, and the Buffaloes finally got something on the scoreboard. That is a career-long field goal for Jason. Now here's John Saunders.
Well, Keith, you and Bob were talking about the NC State story. They were up in this game against Clemson. 11th play of their drive, but Jamie Barnett is sacked by Tony Blanton. The fumble is picked up by Raheem Abdullah, who takes it the rest of the way, 74 yards for the touchdown. That made it a 10-7 game, Clemson on top. But NC State came back to tie it. Clemson has since added another field goal. It's now 13-10 in the 4th quarter. Nebraska's supposed to roll this afternoon. As you can see, they are down to Central Florida, 17-14 in the 2nd quarter. We will continue to follow that one right now. Keith, back to you.
Wow. You know, I'm sure Tom Osborne told the troops, hey, we got Central Florida. Don't look forward to next week's game at Washington.
Right.
But those are 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. Don't tell me that they're not got one eye looking forward to next week.
Well, Central Florida is not a gimme.
Dante Culpepper, one of the better quarterbacks in this country.
They're not easy. They're new, but they've been getting better and better and better. You know who was over there originally when Central Florida started getting themselves organized and getting into the game of football? Bill Peterson.
Really?
Yeah.
At Central Florida.
Pete was over there for a while. I don't think he coached. Maybe he did. Lou Saban was over there.
Well, he was everywhere. I mean, Lou made a lot of stops. He had a lot of stickers on his luggage.
Yeah, that's a couple of wise old heads when you're putting a program together. 35-yard line now where Colorado will kick it off. It's 24-3 ball game at 3.5 minutes to play. Clarence Williams. Buffaloes are trying to cool off and trying to get themselves organized. It's been a hard day for them so far. Very little grass on this plain. High kick. 10-yard line. Williams. Okay. Clarence is caught and taken down by number 40, Rashidi Barnes. It was Rashidi Barnes who had that big interception that got things going last week in Boulder for the Buffaloes. Monday night, live at 9 Eastern, ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles go to Dallas. Last meeting in November of a year ago, the Eagles won that one by 10, and then you know that Philadelphia beat Green Bay last week, and Dallas lost in overtime to Arizona. So the Cowboys might be a little snarly, and the Eagles might be a little cocky, and it might be a heck of a ball game.
Comes again. He's got him. 2-0. There's the same play. 4th time they've run. The little drag bootleg to the right.
Oh, it's a fine day. The tight ends are having a fine day. 3:17 to play.
Same time, same station. Here it is. 2 men going across. This time, it's a blitz. There ain't going to be as many defensive players in the backfield. Reese is going to be rushed. Look at the top of your screen. Wide open. Sutter with the touchdown-saving tackle.
Reese's same play action. He's going big this time for the marbles, and it is just incomplete. High Streets had drawn double coverage, and the man who went all the way deep with him was Sutter, and the other one was Washington.
That's a nice call by Mike DeBoard, the offensive coordinator. They've been using this same style of rollout and hitting the tight end. This time they brought the wide receiver back across behind him and threw it deep.
Marcus Knight comes in now. He is a sophomore from Sylacauga, Alabama. Took a wrong turn. Wound up in Michigan. Second down and 10. Little dump off to Chris Howard. Little one-hand catch by Chris. And pick up about 4 yards on the play. Looked like the ball might have come out.
I think Colorado may have it. Well, it may be changing hands in there. If the official's got to go in there. If the official has to climb in there and look.
That's Michigan's ball. I tell you what, Ryan Black was in the middle of it. He was thrashing pretty good for it, but Zeman wound up with it. Jeremy Tooman in the ball game today. A career-high 126 yards in receiving. That's more than the entire Buffalo offense has produced so far.
And I think probably most of that yardage is on that same play. A little bootleg drag to the right, and he just rambles down the field.
3rd down and 6 now for Michigan. Ball on the Colorado 38. Out of the shotgun. Greasy has it tipped at the line of scrimmage. I think Terrell Cade might have been the man that got his hand on it and slapped it away. It'll be 4th down, and they're thinking about it. Of course, Brian Greasy is the pooch punter, and they're pretty much in pooch position right now. Pooch meaning knock it up in the air, kick a knuckleball up there and let that thing flop around and bounce around, and somebody's back there and tries to catch it, he might not.
Yeah, you're on the 38-yard line. Don't kick it in the end zone. Just kick it inside the 15 or the 10-yard line.
And being a quarterback, of course, they can't overcommit, because if they give him the whole field, he'll complete the pass. So he just knocks it up in the air. It's knuckling around and knuckling around. Look at that bounce. Look at that bounce. And they got it. They kill it down on the 1. That's a perfect pooch punt.
They spent a lot of time last year pooch punting when he was the backup quarterback to Scott Breitbach, and I don't know where he learned that either. Their backyard was kind of small, so maybe that's where he practiced this.
So the beleaguered Buffaloes come out now trailing 24-3 with 1:52 to play in the 3rd quarter. And John Hessler lines up at quarterback, 1st down just outside the 1. Ball is handed to Herschel Troutman, and Troutman will get out near the 4. Here is Mr. Lynn Swan.
Bob, I hate to tell you this, but during the pregame warm-up, Lloyd Carr was watching your son punt. And I saw him just kind of hit one like he did there, kind of rolled around inside the 20, and Lloyd looked at me and said, you know, Len, you got to be a pretty bad punter to have this job.
You're exactly right. Yeah, it's true.
2nd down and 8 now for Colorado. Buffaloes trying to find something. Out to the 5, and that's it. Marcus Ray locked him. Now it is 3rd and 6. Almost have to throw it.
Well, you know, you're not going to have many more possessions, like Keith. You're looking at having maybe 3 or 4 or 5 possessions, and you're going to need 3 touchdowns in those possessions if you shut Michigan out. So you got to do something when you have the ball.
Giverini's in motion. Go the other way with it. Stiggers gets it. He's got a 1st down out to the 20. And might have been long gone except for Marcus Ray.
A good point, Keith. And that's a good pass to throw coming out of there, because your chances of being sacked on a quick drop 3 steps aren't great. And if you hit the slant, maybe a guy like Stiggers can break one, and he almost did.
Marcus Ray, of course, is from Columbus, Ohio. Found his way to that school up north. Ball thrown to the sidelines, completed again to Stiggers. So all of a sudden, they've discovered Stiggers, and he's moving the chains for them. Charles Woodson plays the field side, and he made the play defensively. 20 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. The ball rests on the 28-yard line. The band is resting. The crowd is sitting on their hands with a 24-3 lead. second down and 3, and he won't get it. He's a yard short. They're looking at third down. So they'll let the clock tick away, and we've played 3 with Michigan leading 24-3. And ABC Sports presentation of college football back after this word from our ABC station.
Hang 10 in the 132 horsepower, 16-valve overhead cam, 4-wheel independent suspension, cab forward, gnarly Dodge Neon Coupe. Dude, say hello to Dodge Neon at your friendly Dodge dealer.
Everyone makes a big deal out of the SportsCenter catchphrases, but honestly, we make this stuff up right on the spot.
Welcome board flight 149 for right field. This is a non-chewing flight. It's never iffy if it's Griffey. That blows. It must be a homer, Simpson, because the pitcher just went dough.
And because the catchphrases are so organic, it keeps the show fresh.
4! I am the most popular player in all the land. Yahtzee!
The finish line's in sight for the final days of the Pontiac Race to the Red Line. And now Bonneville's luxury with attitude is leaving the competition behind with this great 97 model closeout value.
Take advantage of low 2.9% APR GMAC financing and get an average finance savings of over $3,800.
There's no tomorrow in this race, so drive home your winner now.
See Shelton, Auburn, Randy Hostler, or LaFontaine Pontiac today.
Mike Holfeld, Denise Dedore, Channel 7 Action News.
College football on ABC Sports.
Here we go to the final quarter. The ball is on the 30-yard line. Colorado possession. Third down and 1.
Yeah, they need a first down, Keith.
This may be a backbreaker right here if they don't get it. Trapman. Oh, boy. That last little surge was just enough. Just enough. So they keep the ball, and we go to John.
Keith, Clemson and NC State in this Burger King update. Jamie Barnett has led his team to a 2-0 start, and here he hooks up with Torrey Holt. 38 yards to the end zone for the touchdown, 17-13, although Clemson is inside the 20.
Here's pass drilled, and the fight for the first down marker is a little bit short for Phil Savoy. Savoy's a pretty good-sized guy. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. But he had a couple of Wolverines wrapping him up, and he comes up a yard short on the reception.
All these Buffalo receivers are good size. Cheverini, 6'2", over 200. Anderson is 6'4", 215. Stiggers is the only one that's short. He's 5'7".
Andre Weathers, who has been one of the veterans in that secondary and played well today, was involved in the melee there with Phil Savoy, and he's hurt, and time is taken for him.
Let's take it the number. Look at the numbers after 3 quarters. The thing that jumps out first, the turnovers. Colorado has had 3, and that turned into 14 opponents' points. The other thing that jumps out is the passing yards for the Buffaloes, only 103. Michigan with 339 total yards.
Well, how about the other big boys? There are a lot of games being played tonight that are of considerable importance. But they've turned on the cool zone stuff now to cool everybody off the sidelines. The temperature getting up around 75 or so today. And Andre is walking off the field. Looks like he'll be all right. But there are several teams involved in your top 10 rankings that are involved in ball games tonight. And so you're going to have to wait until the wee hours of the morning probably to sort it all out. Weathers is dragging his leg as he comes off the field.
Well, he's dragging them both, Keith. I was going to say, I thought he first had a hamstring, but if he's doing it with both, he may have cramps.
Yep. So here's what we were talking about a moment ago about your rankings. Florida and Penn State. Penn State playing today, and they're winning. Nebraska, actually, believe it or not, was the only top 10 team that was in trouble. There's an interesting ball game being played in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Stanford, North Carolina.
Yes. Michigan State winning big.
Boston College has taken the lead over West Virginia. That's a surprise. Kessler's in trouble, trying to step away from it and can't do it. Glenn Steele, 81, and Josh Williams, 91. The pressure people inside.
Again, the defensive line, Keith, dominating the Colorado offensive line. They're doing it with just 4 linemen, putting pressure on Hessler.
So they've got him looking at another 3rd and long.
Steele coming from the outside. It's Cook that he runs around Cook. And then Williams gets the sack.
Hessler throws. It is incomplete. Intended for Toller. And Toller drew a sandwich. Ray was one of them. I mean, it was a lick.
And Neuheisel kept going back to the slants. But there are some intelligent defensive backs in that secondary. Marcus Ray said enough of this. He's the safety. He saw it coming. The timing was good. He was there.
And here's Nick Peach for his 8th punt of the day. And he's at a number of them up around 40. Most of them around 40 yards. Woodson, however, is waiting, and that's not exactly good news. But it's a good kick. Woodson at the last second calls fair catch, and he get a penalty flag thrown with the back judge, who was standing pretty close to him.
Yeah, I think they're going to call that one of the Buffaloes got too close to the punt returner.
Fair catch interference.
Yep.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, now, Charles Woodson waited until the very last second.
Doesn't make any difference. You still have to give him a chance to catch the ball.
But give Charles credit for being crafty.
It's true.
Isn't that a pretty sight?
So how many miles? 50?
90.
90?
90,000 miles. Dude, that's just getting broke in for Chevy.
Is that a scratch?
Scratches give character.
The best long-term quality of any full-size pickup belongs to Chevy.
Women like character.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Whew, what'd you step in?
Hi, I'm expecting a fax.
Room 212 wants the ammunition to deal with her toughest clients.
Nothing? Hi, Davies, 212. I called earlier.
Right, fax. It hasn't come yet.
I need it for a meeting.
Excuse me, Miss Davies? Just came in.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone.
Business services by Marriott. When you're comfortable, you could do anything.
Craig Lambert isn't too worried about how to invest for Zach's college education. That's because he works with a broker from Dean Witter. Together, they developed a long-term investment plan to help take Zach wherever he wants to go.
Clients feel most comfortable with our ability to see things from their perspective.
Now, when Craig looks into his son's eyes, he can see the future and smile. Dean Witter.
We measure success, one investor at a time.
Two-piece swimsuits are making waves, and the press can't get enough. Little swimsuits, big news. The Miss America pageant live tonight on ABC.
13:32 to play in the ball game. 24-3. Michigan has the lead. Wolverines have the football at their own 36-yard line. First down. Clarence Williams. Ridden down by Rashidi Barnes. First down, Michigan. Down at the Colorado 48. Here's John Saunders.
Auburn and Ole Miss in the SEC, and Fred Beasley having a pretty good game. Takes this one 20 yards, rumbles through a couple of tacklers, gets it down to the 3 where he sets up his own touchdown a play later. And right now, Auburn clinging to a 1-point lead, 10-9. Right now, let's take you back to Keith.
Okay, John. Power up the other way. Tight end moving. Go that way. Williams outside. One man turns inside 2 yards. You know who's done a pretty good football coaching job? Penalty flag on that play is Tommy Tuberville down there at Ole Miss.
Yes, he has. Keith, that's a good point.
Penalty flag is at the 39-yard line.
Please disregard the flag.
We will. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Here's Lynn Swan with Rod Payne.
Thank you very much, Keith. Rod Payne was captain last year, center. You're looking at this offensive line for 3 quarters. How do you evaluate it?
Well, they're young, you know. They came out with a little jittery, but once the coaches got into them and they used their technique more than anything, I think, you know, the attrition set in, and you can see it by the score.
Is that what gets them through technique, not relying on the emotion in a ball game like this?
Definitely. Anytime you got young guys in there, they start off fired up, hearts racing 100 miles an hour. But once they settle down and realize that these guys wear cleats and uniforms just like they do, they get right down in their technique.
Now, this is a pretty good defense they're going against for the first ball game.
Yeah, it's very, very good defense. You know, the game plan was to attack them and run a little off play stuff. I think it's working really good.
Rod, thank you. And of course, you told me that when you first started for Michigan, you gave up 2 sacks.
I
in the
gave
first
up
game.
2 sacks, so this guy, he's better than me.
Much better.
Yeah.
Okay, Keith.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Nice to know that Rod's doing well.
Yeah, he was the starting center at Michigan for 3 years.
Pass complete to Russell Shaw down the middle. Shaw was wide open. Pass was on the money. It's first down, Michigan, Colorado 35. Steve Frazier is back in there, and that's the man that Rod was talking about. Steve had come out a little while ago, bunged up some, but he's okay now.
Here's a linebacker blitzing on this offensive line. Watches a lineman are going to slide over and pick it up. That's the center, Frazier, 64, who saw it coming and slid out and gave Greasy just enough time.
All right, they got Streets and Shaw to the bottom of the picture here. Anthony Thomas is back on the field. He's got the ball. Runs through 1 tackle. But the second wave gets him, and he'll get a yard on the play. Hannibal Navies says, "How do you do, Mr. Thomas?" And after Anthony got through spitting out all the grass, he said, "I'm fine." "21 of 27 for 258 yards. And he's rolling downhill now.
Yeah, what Michigan really wants, Keith, they have enough points. They just want to take some time off the clock, make first downs, and then, you know, finish it off by getting a touchdown.
That's a ball thrown behind Russell Shaw. And Russell trying to turn back inside to make the play, and not a particularly good pass. It didn't work. Regional coverage on ABC Sports coming up. Notre Dame is at Purdue. UCLA is at Texas. Maryland's at Florida State. Check your local listings for the game on your ABC station, or the games available from your cable operator.
UCLA's had a tough road to hoe, haven't they?
Yeah, yes, indeed. Been a season of almost for them so far.
Yeah.
3rd and 8.
Here they come.
They try to beat it by handing the ball to Howard, and Chris Howard can't work his way through the traffic and will go down after a yard. So on the 3rd and 8, they don't do much with it, and it's time for another one of those pooch punts.
Well, you're on the 33-yard line. The field goal would be 43. No, I'm sorry, it would be 50. 50-yard field goal. So Looks like they may try one.
They may try one because Feely's coming out.
Yep.
Well, you might as well, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if you get it.
You fail, Colorado gets it back on the 32.
And ran the other way. That's the thing you got to consider that too.
It's 49 yards. It's short. He didn't quite get all of that. And so they come away with nothing at 10 minutes to play in the game.
Had a great practice today. I know you guys are hungry, but this new Big King gave me an idea for a new play. So listen up. Quarterback takes off tackle, whips the ball, the guard pulls, we hand off to the wingback. Wingback goes up the gut for a touchdown. Any questions?
Coach, can I eat my blocker now?
The new Big King from Burger King, plain broiled with 75% more beef. It's like a Big Mac, except it's bigger and tastes better. And right now, you can get one for just 99 cents.
Got any more new plays, Coach?
Meet Caitlin Keats, nature lover. She also loves the new interior of the Chevy S10. There's a lot to be said for the great indoors. Chevy S10, like a rock.
Budweiser. I can't believe they went with the frogs.
Louis.
Our audition was flawless.
Louis.
We did the look. Huh? We did the tongue thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Louis, frogs sell beer. That's it, man. #1 rule of marketing.
The Budweiser Lizards. We could have been huge.
Hey, there'll be other auditions.
Oh, yeah, for what? This was Budweiser, buddy.
No.
This was big. Those frogs are gonna pay.
Let it go, Louis. Let it go.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the all-new Chevy Venture. The Venture is here. Let's go. The Nicoderm CQ Stop Smoking Patch. You bring a commitment, CQ brings the rest. By Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. And by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. From the 32-yard line, the Colorado Buffaloes will go to work now. They're in trouble. They're down 24-3 against what appears to be one of the better defensive football teams in the country. Hessler's pass is intercepted by Downey Jones. And Jones comes back inside the 30 to the 28.
So he's trying to hit the receiver over the middle of the field. Oh, I know that feeling. Frustration. Here's Jones right here. He's going to drop back. The receiver's going to come in from this side over here. Watches. He's going to drop straight back. Get pretty good protection. Thinks he's going to throw it around Jones. And Jones actually does a nice job of see the ball coming inside. You got good feet. Linebacker with good feet can make that play and good hands.
Tracy being pursued, pulls it down and gets to the 20. That's a pickup of 9 yards on the run. And we're at 9:35 and counting.
Well, they finally covered that little bootleg by Michigan and Tuman coming across. But I know what he's thinking. It's one of those days, John, and every quarterback that's been down the road a few times has had those kinds of days.
Handed off to the up back, Chris Floyd. Not much there, but he may have the first down. Now there's a penalty flag. Penalty flags against Colorado. Personal foul, and we'll spend a moment with John Saunders.
Keith, West Virginia and Boston College, Amari Walker out of the game with a sprained knee. His replacement, Mike Cloud, 66 yards on this touchdown run as he closes in on 200 yards for the day right now at 199 as Boston College leads 31-17. Keith.
Oh, I'm surprised at that. I'm as surprised at that as I am really at what's happened here at Ann Arbor, Michigan today. I am too, Keith. Michigan coming in, playing their first game. In fact, the last Division I school to play. All 111 of them have already played. They hadn't played. Colorado had.
There's Williams racing for the corner and gets him inside the 5. Just short of the 4-yard line as he tried to cut it back inside, and Hannibal Davies would have none of it, neither would Rashidi Barnes.
You know, Lloyd Carr has a lot of experienced skill players on offense coming back. Their 2 wide receivers are starters. They have Scott Dreisbach right there, right next to Lloyd, number 12. They had Brian Greasy, Tom Brady, another quarterback. They have running backs coming back, so a lot of skill. The question was their offensive line. If this line develops, this could be a good offense.
Second down, just inside the 5. Williams going north and south with it, and will be near the 2.
Dreisbach there, number 12, signaling the plays in.
Broken hand. Yeah, is it broken? His hand broken?
No, he had a wrist problem. He was not a football thing. It was off the field. He was picking some boxes up and did something to his wrist. I think it's all right. He missed some practice time.
Third down from the 2, 3rd and goal. That's Chris Howard, and Howard I'm not even sure he got to the line of scrimmage. Hannibal Davies, number 8, is on the bottom of that pile. So you're looking at 4th down, and here comes Craig Baker with a kicking tee.
Saw Bo Schembecker outside a little earlier at halftime. Sure, he's smiling at this.
Oh, yeah. 19 yards. Good. So it's 27-3 now with 7:16 to play in the ball game.
Chevy Venture gives you flip and fold seats, because you never know when a little extra room is going to come in handy. The all-new Chevy Venture is here. Let's go.
Business is a race. For a head start, the Xerox DocuColor 40 lets you print or copy 40 color pages in just 60 seconds. Because in the business world, the tortoise never wins. The Document Company, Xerox.
These days, it seems like everything is the official something of somebody. What's next? The official soft drink? The team mascot? Look at this guy right here. And this one here. And this girlfriend and this kid. See? See, they're drinking Dr. Pepper just because it tastes great. It's kind of the official soft drink of everyone else. Like this guy with the bratwurst. He executes a one-handed switch. You can't coach this stuff. It's a thing of beauty. Hey, who's doing that? I do that. What's going on? Hey.
So a dominating performance so far by the Michigan Wolverines over the number 8 ranked team in the country, the Colorado Buffaloes. And the Buffaloes are confused, shaking their heads, they're frustrated, they're angry. Like to at least put some points on the board to go home. And there's the mark. They can bring that out to the 35-yard line now and put it in play. Tonight, live at 6 Eastern Time on ESPN, Syracuse, who's fallen off the track a bit too, goes against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech, one of those swarming, aggressive defensive teams that'll just eat your lunch if you're not careful. LSU plays Mississippi State at 9 Eastern Time down in Starkville. And that's one of those little mud holes that LSU better be careful about, because you go to Starkville, you can get beat. Jackie Sherrill and his bunch, Jerry DiNardo, is going to have to go down, I guess, without Kevin Falk.
Yes, that's what I understand.
That's all tonight on ESPN, starting at 6. Colorado the attack now from the 35-yard line. Hessler hit as he throws, and it's almost intercepted. Almost picked off. Joaquin Fizel had Hessler in his grasp just as he threw the ball.
All day long, Hessler's been getting hit. This offensive line has not given him much. The Michigan defense, 20 plays resulting in no gain. 7 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions.
The fellow who almost made that interception, number 5, was James Whitley. He is a freshman from Norfolk, Virginia. And another one of the true freshmen that the coaches just get warm all over when you talk about it, because he is some talent. That ball is off the hands of the receiver inside, Chris Anderson, and could have been picked off by one of the backers. Brady Brooks had his hands on it. Ian Gold is in the ball game too. Maybe it was Ian that had a piece of it as well, but it went off of about 3 sets of hands.
The best thing that Rick Neuheisel and John Hessler can do with this film is go back, study it, see where we can learn from it, say it's probably never going to be this bad again, and go on and get better.
Well, let's see if they put Stiggers in a foot race here. Give him time, won't give him time to throw. They dump it off instead to Marlon Barnes. And Marlon Barnes, the running back, getting a screen play to the right side, will take it for a first down at the Michigan 45-yard line.
That's a good call by Neuheisel. When you have tough pressure up the middle of those defensive linemen, try to slide the back out to the flat area and hit him with a screen.
It's important, I think, Bob, to restore some order here.
Well, you need, exactly, Keith, you're exactly right. You need to come out of here positive. I mean, if you don't win the game, at least finish it on a good note.
Pass is thrown to the sidelines to Phil Savoy. And Savoy, between Woodson and Whitley, will possess the ball at about the Michigan 36. They don't really go to a huddle. The wide receivers walk halfway in. They get the play and then go back to their positions, and they have 3 wideouts. Whoa, Kessler almost got out of there without the ball. That's thrown down the middle. That pass is caught. Nope. Bounce. Tennyson McCarty. Big guy from Boulder. Tennyson McCarty made a catch, was it 2 years ago, against Texas A&M in the corner of the end zone in Boulder. That was a wonderful play.
You always remember those tight end catches.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. On the 36. 3rd down and 2. And it's Barnes. Barnes knocked out of bounds, but he and Hessler were both beyond the marker, and they've got another first down. 6 minutes. Your clock stops there, 6:09.
Woodson staying back, just playing it safe. All right, now he comes up and he's going to knock Barnes out of bounds. But that defense for Michigan, Keith, one of the things that Lloyd Card told us the other day is that he wanted the defense to create things for the offense. They didn't do that much last year. This game today, 17 of the points that Michigan has scored have come off of 4 turnovers by the defense.
First down from the 30 for the Buffaloes. And that's going away. There wasn't anything downfield.
They're calling intentional grounding.
Yep. Well, he had a man in the general vicinity, but throwing it 15 feet over his head didn't help his
That's
call.
not enough to have a man in the area. It's got to be in the area. It's got to be deemed that he had an opportunity to catch it. when you throw it this high, you know, the only thing Rick can say is, hey, it slipped out of his hand. It's a screen to the right. Barnes, number 9, is going to slide to the right. There's a man out there. Brooks is out there. I'd say that's a good call.
Pretty high.
I mean, it was 10 yards out of bounds, too.
That was a Ryan Duran fastball into the screen. That's what that was. So the penalty puts it back on the 46-yard line. Hessler coming back. Josh Williams has been in his face all day, and Williams broke through again.
This is really frustrating when the quarterback gets outside the pocket and nobody is pressuring him. You've got 4 receivers downfield, and you don't come up with a completion. Because he had plenty of time. The receivers had a lot of time to get open, and nobody got open.
I don't think he had anybody to throw to. Did he?
No, nobody got open.
We're at 5:55 to play in the ball game. 27-3, Michigan.
Carl Durrell, the offensive coordinator, says he thinks that this Michigan defense, whose backs are the best set of defensive backs that he's played against coming back. A lot of them were back in the country. I don't think he'll change his mind after this game.
Whoa. Boy, that one almost went the other way with William Peterson, a freshman from Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Oh, my goodness, he hit him right on the hand. Here's Swanick.
Well, Keith and Bob, I agree with what you're saying about John Hessler. He's having a bad day, but he needs to get help from his offensive line, and especially his receivers. All throughout this ball game, his receivers have not been working downfield, working hard to get open, to come back to him, making themselves a viable target when he needs it. This is a team sport. No matter what the individual does, 10 other guys have to be pulling their weight to help that guy out. And I don't see the whole team helping John Hessler.
Play without the ball. You have to play without the ball.
Amen, brother. I'm with you, Lynn.
High hanger. Drifting toward the sidelines. There's the penalty flag downfield at about the 21-yard line. Let's see what that's about. Remember, we've got regional action coming up for you right after our ball game. One of the games to keep your eye on, that's a call against Michigan, is I think UCLA at Texas. It'll be interesting to see whether or not James
I like
Brown
that.
is the quarterback
I like that
for
game, Keith. I like that game.
On a receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
John Makovic, the last year in the championship game, Big 12 against Nebraska. What a great coaching job he did in that ball game.
Timeout.
Final panel. Check. Uh-oh.
Constant support.
Is there a problem, Jim? Over.
Mission critical connectivity.
Nice catch.
But enough about the computers Dell built for NASA. What can we build for your company? To find out, give us a call. With the Intel Pentium 2 processor, Dell, the #2 supplier of PCs to corporate America, and climbing.
You're going to want to take advantage of the great deals at the Dodge Big Summer Clearance before time runs out. You'll need to be quick on your feet to corner a Caravan with up to $1,000 cash back. And since after $750 cash back, Caravan is the lowest priced minivan in the industry, time isn't the only thing that's going to fly. Get to the Dodge Big Summer Clearance soon, because the clock is running. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
What's nice for working mothers here is the new Kids Center. It fosters a family atmosphere.
Today, we're going to read The Rumble in the Jungle Book. See Muhammad, see George, see Muhammad clobber George.
And our children learn skills we don't know how to teach.
Wait a minute. You got to go to the body. Then you got to work the left hook. You understand?
They're getting nutritious meals. And when your teacher's the reigning WBA champ, you got to listen, which is nice.
It's cold out. Don't forget your gloves.
Thank you.
Clemson trying to avoid being beaten by NC State, marching late. Nealon Green back in the pocket, fires this one to Ryan Wolford, who gets it deep into NC State territory. That sets up this field goal by Matt Padgett, his 3rd of the game, and gives the lead to NC State. That was his 4th of the game, 19-17 with 2 seconds left.
your quarterback now for the Michigan Wolverines. He turns and gives the ball to Chris Floyd. After the penalty on the Wolverines, they start at the 7-yard line at 5.5 minutes to play in the game. Tom Brady, a 6'5", 215-pound sophomore from San Mateo, California. And he moved up when Dreisbach got the wrist injury. Brady stepped up as number 2 behind Brian Greasy.
It's good to see Brady getting some playing time too, Keith, because he's been another talented quarterback in this Michigan group that is frustrated by not getting an opportunity to play.
Brady gives the ball away to Chris Howard. Howard's had a pretty good day. The Michigan running backs have not broken a real big run today, but you can see that may not be too far in the future. But this young man has had himself quite a day.
What do you think, pizza or steak?
I have been saving the name of a restaurant for him. It will probably cost you $100 a head. It's a lifetime moment.
Well, he's been waiting for a long time.
That's right. Here comes Clarence Williams, but Clarence is caught behind the line of scrimmage, whistling in to do it. This is a name you want to remember. Tuck this one away. His name is Ty Gregoric. He is a freshman, a true freshman from Spokane, Washington. He's 6'3". He's 250 pounds. I watched an interview with him last night, and it was startling how composed and poised he was.
He seems pretty anxious and pretty excited about getting in a little bit in this ball game anyway, Keith. But
here's the punchline. He was 19 years old yesterday. He looked pretty good to me. Jason Benson is in to punt now for Michigan. Herschel Troutman is waiting. Got a little pressure on him, but he got it out of there. That's a tail dragger. It'll roll. And Herschel has trouble picking it up. And number 36 in the blue made him pay for it.
Aaron Shade with the tackle.
Tight end.
Got a taste for something new? Introducing Domino's new pesto crust pizza. Zesty pesto made from sweet basil, parsley, and savory garlic, kneaded right into the dough. Baked, then brushed with pure olive oil, sprinkled with Romano cheese for a truly authentic flavor. New pesto crust pizza, only from Domino's. Try it, or any large one-topping pizza for $9.99 and get a second one-topping for $5.99.
Domino's.
You're so lucky. Not one gray hair.
When a woman can run her fingers through your hair and can't tell you blend away your gray, that's a natural-looking result. And that's just what you get with the hair color called Just for Men. Its unique formula blends away gray. Shampoo in, then rinse, all in 5 easy minutes. And it matches your gray to your natural color, so nobody knows, even close up.
I just love your hair.
Just for Men. It looks so natural, even she can't tell.
Some of the most admired cars are owned by the guys who know cars best. ASE certified master mechanics. And the #1 brand of motor oil top mechanics use is Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Your move? Hoodlum is filmmaking on a grand scale. Thrilling, an electric 3-prong attack. And Fishburne is fierce, magnetic, irresistible, says the Los Angeles Times.
Get ready for your final thrill.
Hoodlum, rated R, now playing.
27-3 ball game, 3.5 minutes to play. Michigan's got it in hand, and Colorado has the ball with Adam Bledsoe now in at quarterback, a redshirt freshman. Big arm, drills it, almost knocked Bill Savoy down. I think Savoy thought it was going to be intercepted and knocked away, and all of a sudden, whoop, it hit him right in the sternum, and he took off with it. Bledsoe is the younger brother of Drew Bledsoe, of course, the quarterback of the New England Patriots. Lists the Yakima, Washington as his hometown.
That was his first collegiate pass.
And it was delivered with authority.
You know he has a strong arm.
He's a big guy. You run north and south. There's a penalty flag. I think somebody might have got him with a face mask. He's 6'4", 215 pounds. And if he'd have just turned it and gone north and south, he'd probably gotten more out of it without the penalty, but the penalty is going to help. Yep. Face mask. Coming Thursdays this fall, 2 new hours that the critics are calling the best new dramas in television. Kevin Anderson starring in the season's most talked about new show, Nothing Sacred, followed by Robert Pastorelli starring in Cracker. They're both coming to Thursday night on ABC starting September 18. Put the ball on the 41-yard line for a first down now. Drew Bledsoe, his brother, went to Washington State, left after his junior season to go to the New England Patriots or go to Pro Bowl. Adam chose to go to Colorado. There's that strong arm again. I'm telling you, it smokes. And that pass is complete for almost 10 yards and a first down. Brody Hefner, the tight end who hasn't seen the ball all day. Brody goes up and gets that one. He's a big guy, a sophomore out of Del Mar, California.
I'm sure everybody out there is going to be asking, why didn't they put Bledsoe in earlier? It seems like he's moving the team, throwing the ball well, completing all these passes. He's got good protection. And the answer is, you know, Michigan is pulling back. They're not rushing as hard. They're not blitzing. The game is in hand.
And they've got some new people in themselves.
Well, that's true.
They're doing some seasoning.
Say, next week will be a good week, Keith. I'm looking forward to seeing the Huskies of Washington and Nebraska up in Seattle. Florida State's going to have their hands busy at Clemson.
I just hope the Huskies and the Huskers don't crack the earth. They know the stadium might fall in the lake.
Peyton Manning and the Vols are going to play Florida next week. Got a lot of big games.
Second down and 10. Bledsoe throws hard. Oh, that thing came in there like a 105 millimeter. Chris Anderson couldn't come up with it. There was a defender with his hands on the ball.
It was a tough day.
They're going to we're going to go to basic psychology on the plane home, I think.
Yeah, well, no, it's right. It's good right there that he's laughing, and you know, he knows it's his job, and that Michigan is a great defensive team. They knew that coming in. They had trouble with them last year when Coy Detmer was there.
That's right.
You know, Coy had trouble with these guys, and
a lot of guys had trouble with these guys.
Yeah.
Javon Green makes that reception, but there's a good tackle on the play by William Peterson, and he couldn't make much out of it. So Colorado now looks at 4th down, and those are the numbers for Jeremy Tooman, who had himself a career day.
Jeremy had a nice day, and I think next week's opponent for the Wolverines, Baylor, probably he won't get the same yardage on that same pass play. I think he caught 4 of the 5 receptions was on that one crossing route, with the quarterback kind of naked bootleg. That's going to be one of the plays they're going to be studying all week.
Well, you got Baylor in between Colorado and Notre Dame. You better be careful. Bledsoe's pass is too high. It was intended for Chris Anderson. So 2:08 to play in the ball game. 27-3. The Michigan Wolverines have had a dominating performance in their opening game of the season. Charles Woodson.
They threw the ball 40 times. They threw 5 times at Woodson. They completed 3. And he had one interception on him. They throw 40 times and they only go your way 5 times. Might get a little lonely out there. Not getting any action.
Yeah, but that just keeps him fresh for when he goes over to the offense.
That's exactly right, and that's what Carr's philosophy is. The less they throw at him, the fresher he'll be, so we can use him in other areas.
Anthony Thomas carried there. One of the things I guess you got to think about, too, is if those young people in the secondary, those freshmen develop and get to the point where one of them can start returning punts. Right. I mean, sure, you can see Woodson on the offensive side of the ball more, and he might even wind up playing on the offensive side of the ball on Sunday. But you have seen today a perfect example of what a real good defense can do for you in a college football game.
There is no question. If you start with defense, Build your offense and then your special teams, especially in the Big Ten. You win with defense, stopping the run, and special teams. You got a good offense or a decent offense, then you're gonna be all right.
The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Hannibal Davies, the linebacker for Colorado, and Brian Greasy for the Michigan Wolverines.
I didn't vote.
No, he didn't. Wouldn't let him vote. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward the outstanding students for their academic achievements, a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter century. Davies had 11 tackles today. It was very obvious in the Colorado defense around the ball all day long. Greasy 21 of 28 for 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Brady, nice soft pass delivered out to Anthony Thomas. And Thomas has a first down. Anthony Thomas, 6'2", 228. He'll get bigger.
He's a load, and he can run.
Clock running along now as we head toward the final seconds of the game. The coordinating producer of ABC's college football, Tony Tortorici. Today's game produced by Jay Rothman, directed by Chip Dean, our technical director, Gary Larkins, associate producer, Margaret Schaefer, associate director, Fred King. Our statistician was Mark Amento. Our spotter was Kelly Hayes. Jim Licata, our technical operations manager. And the ball comes up. And the clock stops at 15 seconds. Aaron Wright. And Colorado jumps all over it. Aaron Wright, there's another name you want to remember. I mean, he's a whippet. Ooh, you have to look quicker, you don't see it.
You're going to mention his speed.
Associate Director Fred King, our production manager Scott Silberman, our assistants to the producer Chapman Downs and Jason Lewis, our computer stats Craig Rothberg, and our sideline coordinator was Dave Hatter. Charles Copeland producing in New York, Calvin Haywood directing. They'll be there for a while.
Yes, they will.
Perhaps even take root before the day's over. Gary Boyarsky, and our New York remote coordinator is Bruce Clark. Adam Bledsoe looks and looks and misses. And he got 9 seconds to play in the football game. So the crowd starts to leave the big old house in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They go along anticipating the arrival of Baylor. Then comes Notre Dame on the 27th. And then they'll get into Big Ten conference play.
I wonder how many of these fans here today, Keith, after this win in their pocket, are looking past Baylor next week at home here to Notre Dame in 2 weeks.
Well, the team better not.
Yeah, well, you know, Carr will get that straightened out.
It's a matter of running out the clock. The longest kind of a day for the Colorado Buffaloes, but a glorious beginning for Michigan as Michigan wins it 27-3.
You're watching ABC.